Are you guys ready to start?
Ancient magic.
There it is.
That's how we're gonna start tonight. With ancient magic. Yes.
Whoa.
Jenn's tattoo needs to be ancient magic.
I feel like, yeah, we all need to come up with some Harry Potter tattoos.
Tramp stamp. Ancient magic.
Just how do you feel about that?
Sounds great.
Real quick.
But it sounds great.
What a supportive guy.
Oh my.
Oh
That's pretty great. But speaking of tattoos, Lauren and Brandon's tattoo artist has Harry Potter on her whole forearm.
Yes.
She has
People.
Hogwarts, the school. She has Dobby and a snitch.
Oh
the
my gosh.
snitch.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
All like here.
That's awesome.
And Lauren goes, why would she pick Dobby?
The same reason John's going to have Neville on his arm when we're all done
you're
with this.
darn right. You're darn right. Neville straight across my chest.
Oh my gosh.
I
Neville's
feel like
face.
anything
Oh,
with
boy.
Harry Potter, you would never change your mind on. So there you go.
Oh boy.
Okay, but speaking of ancient magic, here's the opening question that I have for you guys tonight because
Okay.
I'm actually really curious about this. What magical powers do you think objects hold? Because it was talking about there being ancient magic. You guys are right over there?
There's a picture of a guy that has a Harry Potter tattooed across his chest. I'm thinking that's what they're laughing at. It's like
Keep going.
There's a lot
So-
going on around here. So many layers.
you said so magic in
Ancient magic
my
with
favorite.
objects.
With
That's kind of my
objects.
main question.
Okay.
So one thing that people brought up that they kind of had a qualm with our discussion was that they didn't like Danny's skepticism of the pensive.
Oh, how so?
It's an ancient magic object. Because like that's maybe this is my question for you guys because
Yeah.
I was kind of in the same vein as you. Memories can be modified, but is there something about the pensive is there another way that you can view memories, but if you put them in the pensive, they're more pure, and the pensive like is a sieve. It sieves out the good from the bad and lets you actually see a true, accurate representation of this. Because you don't trust the memories that Dumbledore extracted from Morphin.
Well, only because we already saw that Slughorn, who isn't even very good at it, was able to modify his memories.
Yeah.
Of course, it was obvious. It's like bad CGI compared to like a deep fake where you actually wonder like, wait, did that celebrity do that? So it's like we already know the pensieve does not take all impurities out. So where do you draw the line? So I am skeptical, always, of course. But I think I'm not skeptical of the pensieve as much as the people. But we asked a lot of questions early on, a couple like episodes ago. We're like, is the memory pure? If the person forgets something, a detail, does it get blurry? If a person misremembers or they thought they did something cooler than they actually did. I don't know. I guess it just, I keep thinking of that Malcolm Gladwell thing where he did the study on traumatic events where they waited for like a big event that would affect a lot of people. And then when 9/11 comes along and they interview all these people like the year after 9/11 and said, tell us about the morning of 9/11. And they did. Then 10 years later, they follow up with all those same people and ask them what happened that morning. Walk us through your day. And everyone tells their story and they are 100% confident this is what happened. But in more than half the people, they got little details wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing important, but just like different cafes or restaurants or people they were with, timing, time of day. Like people just got a lot of weird little details wrong. And sometimes they would change things altogether because memory is fickle. So when you have like a big moment that you replay in your mind a lot of times, you naturally just change the moment and you don't even realize it. So with these things, with these memories, I just thought, how could it be a pure memory? When I'm even trying to tell stories, I don't remember enough of the
100%,
details. You just
yeah.
kind of go with the flow. So is the pensieve pure and perfect or
Maybe
flawed?
not necessarily pure and perfect, but like, do you think that the crude job that Slughorn did to cover up his memory, if you viewed his memory another way, could have been better covered up, but the pensive actually showed the
Like the pensive is
imperfections
a
of it.
powerful way of viewing a memory. Well, we haven't seen any other way of viewing a memory. So
Yeah.
I kind of didn't think you could, but
Yeah,
maybe.
we did with occlumency.
Yeah.
Oh, like
That's a good
that. But
point.
I thought of that as being the purer way because it was like direct, but maybe that's where it could be more tampered with.
Yeah.
that feels weird.
But also everyone's everyone's memory is different. So like we could be at the same exact event and
Yeah.
my memory is going to be different than
Right.
yours. And I thought they were rude and you thought they were fine. They were polite.
Yep.
So-
Like if you thought someone looked pretty and someone else thought they looked ugly, would they actually be glowing in one memory and look shabby in another?
Right.
I don't know. And we just don't have enough information. We don't have much to compare it to. All we know is pensieve memories are not perfect, but they're enhanced.
Yeah.
Only based on Parcel Tongue being so like audible by Harry. We say, all right, well, if this guy who didn't even speak Parcel Tongue could remember Parcel Tongue enough that Harry could then understand it later, that seems to indicate that the pensieve is filling in some details here, or like kind of smoothing out some of the wrinkles in the memory. Because there's no way someone would remember the random noises coming out of a person if they didn't know what they meant. But I don't know. Not sure.
And even on top of that, there's a few things mentioned in this chapter with these objects having these traces of ancient magic, as we always say. Jenn always says. What is actually in these objects? Like this, they showed the locket of Slytherin and they showed the cup of Helga
Helga.
Hufflepuff.
This is your favorite.
This is your
Question.
thing, ancient magic. You're
Yeah, but
ancient
I'm
magic.
not a pro at ancient magic. I just know when it shows up and I know it's
Bro. She
powerful.
can just identify
I
it.
just like it.
I don't
Yeah.
identify as it.
But what is actually in this? What is like the magic that's
I know
in
because
these
when
objects?
I don't.
Like, did the
Power.
founders give them power on purpose, or is it just because of their age that they're powerful?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because they've been passed down, like almost Like-
what are you going to compare this to?
Well, I'm just comparing it to Muggle things. Like we are fascinated by old things in the
You
world
are
in general.
fascinated by
So
old
true.
things.
I'm like find all these silly things fascinating. Everyone's like, that's a boring old rock. I'm like, it's geology. Anyways, I just think even in the Muggle world, we're fascinated. Some
Yeah,
people are
you're
fascinated
right.
by old things, specific objects, and I think the attention we give to something gives it Muggle power. You know, like whether it's a fancy watch or a tool that was used in the Stone Ages, or you know, you go to the Met or you go to some fancy museum and you see paintings, even if you're like, that kind of looks like other paintings, but if you know it's by someone important, it's like
Yeah.
we're giving it glory, we're giving it power, we're giving it like presence as Muggles. So in the wizarding world, I almost feel like the attention that an object gets gives it some kind of power. Like Peeves being like a combined energy of the students, I feel like the wizards' subconscious combined energy of giving an object attention. That's
So,
like a crude way of saying it, but
is
just
there-
like something.
Are there certain objects in the wizarding world that have been passed down for so long that they possess more magical powers than others? And
what
what
it
would those
seems like.
objects be? Like, so we've seen a few, but is there
But I
like
think
one ring to
they're
rule them all?
picking it though.
Wait, what do you mean they're picking it?
Like they're picking one object to like pass down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And wands can be passed down. And these, I think of precious metals as being important. Gold galleons and jewels and things like that. Maybe that's just my Muggle mind.
Well, everything that we've seen is jewelry, right?
It it has a Muggle value
or was
too.
it a cup? One of them was a cup.
Yeah, one of them was.
But I'm
yeah.
picturing it like a goblet, like something
Right,
kinda
yeah, like a metal one.
legit.
Yeah.
So here's like another exercise. Put yourself,
But-
implant yourself into the world of you grew up magical. What is the lore surrounding certain things? Like we have lore in our cultures with like, you know, like growing up, we did all this stuff for our state, like all this weird lore surrounding our state.
Yes.
Around like even this one concept of the devil, like the devil roams around our state and you don't go to certain parts of our state because like they have things. And there's obviously like Excalibur, you get something like that. It's like this sword that is
Right.
unbeatable.
Yep.
Like that's kind of our lore. What would you say
Wizard
is
lore.
wizarding lore? Like is there certain things that have been so embedded in, like if you were a magical parent, what would you tell your kids?
To be honest, in these chapters, I thought of Hogwarts. like there is Hogwarts lore, and we've seen it confirmed in these books. But imagine before the books, before anyone knew, you heard vague rumors of things like, oh, there was a kid when I was in school called Hagrid. He got kicked out because of some beast under the school that got let out in the Chamber of Secrets. And I imagine that Hogwarts in and of itself would have a lot of lore, hidden passages and treasure, crazy creatures underneath the school, chambers. And even that lore, I think, gives a certain power to Hogwarts. But now we're wondering, what kind of truth is there to this lore? We've already seen a lot of it with the different underground passages. But why does Voldemort want to be there?
Yeah.
Is it lore? Is it truth? I don't know. But even maybe some of Voldemort has become lore. So I feel like that's part of the weirdness that I can't figure out about like why they don't want to say his name. Because does that give him some kind of power? Because his Death Eaters, even when he went back to Dumbledore in these chapters asking about a job at Hogwarts, his Death Eaters were already kind of a thing. So I feel like there's some Death Eater lore, but I don't know what that is. And there's probably lore with dead bodies, since they can be reanimated and they can be used in potions and stuff like that.
There's some
Wasn't
good
that
zombie
a
lore.
more new thing? What?
What'd you say? Sorry,
is kind of- it does seem
motorcycle
like a
was going
newer
by at
thing,
the
yeah.
same time.
It does kind of seem like a newer thing, yeah.
Yes, I was going to say the dead body thing seems like after Voldemort was in reign kind of thing. No?
Could be.
That's kind of the vibe that I got too. I'm sure it was existent, but
But
that's
no
even
one
another question
used
that I have.
it because he's crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So are
There's a lot of
are these
stuff
people
that-
inventing this different kind of magic to
Well, whoever wrote the Half-Blood Prince book is also his own magic too, which sounds like it could be Voldemort, but who knows?
Could be.
We'll see. I want to keep talking about this stuff, but let's start. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
It's Jenn.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Hey everyone, here are your typical reminders and a bunch of new stuff going on too. I have been mentioning merch for so long and I'm finally getting designs, I promise, this week, and we're going to finalize those and get some merch out there. I'm going to re-edit the whole beginning of this podcast message too to say everything that we have going on. But we have Instagram, follow us, First Time Readers. Everything's either at First Time Readers or at Hot Tamales. We're starting to add that handle onto it too, which is pretty darn fun. We might change our Twitter handle to Hot Tamales. That's kind of a fun one. But email is firsttimereaders at gmail.com. Subreddit is r/firsttimereaders. Instagram is at First Time Readers. We have a Discord now, which is Hot Tamales. If you want the Discord, go on to our Reddit and go find the Discord link on our Reddit. I'll post that in the description or something like that. The subreddit, or no, the Discord is how we're going to do live reads from now on. That's probably the easiest way without hitting any copyright issues. So go check us out on there. That's where we're going to have some small little discussions live as well. And we have a bunch of other stuff going on, but my mind is going blank right now. Go give us a rating and review. As always, that's probably the best way to get podcasts out. If you want, you can support us on Patreon, or you can even support us on YouTube through memberships. As soon as we finish this first read through for Jenn, Danny, and Kristen, we are going to start implementing member-only content. We're thinking about doing some other stuff. So we have to throw a few little ideas out there, but we're going to kind of have a meeting and discuss where we go from there. We are thinking about season 2, season 3, season 4. I have a lot of different ideas that we're going to do for this to build this out into a Harry Potter nerddom, and even just a larger nerddom, keeping me, Danny, Jenn, and Kristen kind of going through this whole thing, doing different kinds of bits of content. So we're thinking of all these different ideas for it. I got to talk to our quad group over here and just try to figure out more ideas for that. So keep updated on everything. Again, the Reddit is probably the best way to do that. That's kind of where we have all of our announcements. Our Twitter is First Time Readers. I might change that to Hot Tamales now that I'm thinking about it. Might be pretty sweet. And then I think that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else. I know that I had a bunch of other stuff, but I can't really think of it at the moment. We are also going to take a little bit of a breather between book 6 and book 7 because Jenn and Danny are obviously getting married. So that's very exciting. But I will keep you all up to date with everything that's going on all of our social media platforms. Go follow us on YouTube as well. That's where we do all the live streams. I'm sure you probably all know we have a YouTube channel at First Time Readers. And then all the other stuff. I don't know. Go enjoy these chapters. These are really funny chapters to me. There's like a good bit of comedy as well as darkness in these chapters, and they're just so excellent. And some of the discussion in these chapters had me cackling the entire way as I was editing this podcast. So enjoy these chapters 20 to 22 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
The best is like, I wish I could give you a different answer, but I have no information.
But you must have some ideas of lore, though.
No.
Like if you
Wizard
were,
Jenn lore.
Let's like imagine we're kids right now and we're sitting around and our parents are telling us a
Would be
story
great.
about like
No work tomorrow.
like what is even ours? Like ours is like I can't even remember what some of ours is. What are like stories that we tell that like you have an object and you
an object. Well,
Like
I remember
make-believe world. I don't know
Yeah,
what I'm
kinda.
trying to say.
like kind of like
I'm
make
not
believe
really
world, but like
following
you
this.
know like boys will have like swords and we'll like imagine
Swords
like it's
and dragons and-
Excalibur
Yep.
or
Oh, we're with Barbies.
hey,
Sure.
good movie just came out for Barbie, so I haven't seen it yet, but
Me neither. I do want to see it.
I don't know. I guess my question is there deeper forms of magic in these objects? Like you had this weird diary that someone implanted their memories in. You had this weird like this locket. Is there deeper magic in this hat, this sorting hat, like this sword?
The sorting hat does seem like its own little
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah.
They created, and he has his own mind of his own. It seems, but he had to be created. He didn't exist before, right?
Yeah.
You can't just become a sorting hat.
And music.
He changes his song every year to be more relevant.
That's so true. He
Yeah.
does. And there's power in music. So the Sorting Hat's really doing some crazy stuff.
What does Dumbledore say in the first book? Music and magic that
Goes beyond anything we teach here.
yeah.
When's it going to come back?
Quoting the book already.
Here's
That's
a
what
bit of lore.
happens when
Something
you're
like
studying the book.
we
But dragons would be lore too, just like they
Yeah.
are in Muggle World, right?
But here's kind of
magical,
what I'm
yeah.
even arriving at, like something like the Fountain of Youth or like the Tree of Life.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Like searching for those things. Is there magical equivalents for those things? Like
There has
you
to
get the
be,
Fountain
because
of
that's
Youth.
why Voldemort is thriving,
Yeah,
and whatever he's living for is that object.
yeah, for sure.
that
Yeah, that's a good
exists
point.
somewhere. Because why else is he doing all this crap?
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's why we love things like Indiana Jones, where it's like something that we thought of as lore and then there's confirmation that it's real. And then in the wizarding world, when something is lore, when does it just fade into lore and you're like, oh, it probably was never real, or it actually was. But do we know much lore? Well, we actually heard a little bit of lore in these chapters with what was his name? Obo, the wizard that they were singing about at the end when Slughorn and Hagrid were drinking.
Yeah,
That's lore. Lore often would take the form of songs and stories. So I'm curious if he was involved in any ancient lore.
Pirates and their treasure with all their
Pirates
songs.
and
Yeah,
their
right.
treasure. Ooh, I love that.
like buried
lore.
treasure somewhere.
Buried treasure. Yeah. But I'm trying to think of other Muggle lore.
Maybe
that
that's
has,
what
like,
it
power.
is. Buried items.
Buried
But then
treasure.
why is he going after them?
Because
Well,
they have
let's-
power. They
But
have
what
to have
gives it its power, and why is it more powerful than things they could make now?
But is it like someone dies and their power goes into this object
Mm.
and then it gets passed down?
I think we're kind of saying that if it is passed down, it gets more power because it's almost like it's being
Like
appreciated.
an aged wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then once you imagine the wine is better because it's older and more expensive, you just think it's going to be better, even if it isn't. You're like,
And then it is because you thought
because
it.
you think it is.
Like the fake Felix.
Felix Felicis, yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's go into chapter 20 because all this stuff is going to be in chapter 20.
Ah, yes.
Oh, we didn't
Lord
even start?
Voldemort's request.
Whoa.
We're going now.
That was all the intro.
Chapter 20, Lord Voldemort's request. So what is the summary of this chapter?
It was like we get another look into the pensieve. The first memory of Voldemort is the first memory, I don't know what I wrote here, is of Voldemort killing a woman to get Helga Hufflepuff's cup and Slytherin's locket. The second is of Voldemort visiting Hogwarts to ask Dumbledore for a job again. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
I needed that summary. I don't get why this lady didn't use this stuff. She's like, it has a lot of power. I'm going to tease you with it, but I never use it, and it's in a safe.
She wanted him coming back.
She wanted him coming. Yeah.
She was hot
Well,
for
he's
him.
handsome, apparently.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, was. Yeah, was until book 3 or whatever he was.
well, yeah, the movies portray him nicely.
This chapter opens up. Hermione even escorted them down to breakfast, bringing with her news that Ginny had argued with Dean. The drowsing creature in Harry's chest suddenly raised its head, sniffing the air hopefully. What did they row about? He asked, trying to sound casual as they turned into a 7th floor corridor, which was deserted, but for a very small girl who had been examining a tapestry of trolls and tutus. She looked terrified at the sight of the approaching 6 years and dropped the heavy brass scale she was carrying. One question before this. Harry is looking at his book, and he comes across this spell called Sectum Sempra. What do you think this spell does?
Wait, could you say that again? Where was the spell?
He is reading through the advanced
And it
potion
said for the
making.
enemies, right?
It said for enemies.
Oh,
Sectum
yeah.
Sempra, only for enemies.
You've done a study, so what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but nothing.
It's like a Latin taking the parts together.
You know, I should have actually done some research, but I can't Google it because it's going to tell me what it does. You know what I mean? So
what is it again? Do you have it written out?
No, let me find where it is. I got the idea of separating because it just sounds like it, but then I'm like, just because it sounds like it doesn't mean it is. It's like Sectum Sempra.
Could it be something with your nose? A septum.
I was literally just saying.
You have a deviated septum. It fixes that.
It fixes.
It makes
Or
one
It gives it to your
to
enemies.
your enemies. It splits their
Trouble
nose in
breathing
half.
forever.
Gross.
It gives slits. So
I was just going to say Voldemort tried it and it went wrong.
Yeah. But like, we can't tell. We don't know how evil this Half-Blood Prince is. Because the other thing he had was like flipping someone upside down, holding them by their legs in the air, right? And by the up in the ceiling, which doesn't seem that harmful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a prank thing.
Yeah, it's a prank. It's for sure embarrassing, but it's not terrible.
So I'm just trying to think what would be for an enemy of that level.
Any ideas? Next question, pass.
Making them not be able to talk.
Ooh. Wow, that'd be
That'd be a good one.
you'd be a good spell inventor just from that alone. That'd be interesting.
Doesn't Harry do that to the ghost?
That was different. It made the tongue stick to the roof of his mouth,
that's right.
but
Oh.
similar vibes, and that's why it would make sense.
I'm imagining like the Matrix when
Neo loses his mouth.
he has like the skin that goes in front. That's gross.
I've never
Yeah.
seen. I only seen parts of
I've
it.
never seen those either.
The
Matrix and the first time watchers. Don't watch them, guys. That'll be bonus content, in the winter.
With Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they're pretty great. I think they age pretty well.
Like a fine wine.
I don't know about all that.
It's from a movie. I just don't know which one.
Oh.
I was going to say that before.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I don't know.
And then here's even not really a second part of this question, but completely on a different note. Why do people stay together if they're miserable? Why does Lavender not want to break up with Ron, even though Ron wants nothing to do with her?
It's an uncomfortable situation. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, that's why Ron doesn't want to end it. And Lavender is
Obsessed.
Desperate. She wants
maybe,
a guy.
yeah, she's just very hopeful. She's a hopeful
Well, she doesn't even like
or
Ron.
Attention.
hopeless romantic.
I think
She doesn't
she's-
like him?
I think it's like
I
those
don't
girls
know.
that just want like a boyfriend.
Yeah,
They don't care who
For the
it is.
idea of him, even if
she
yeah.
likes the idea of him. I don't know if she likes him.
So
I feel like she does kind of like him. I'm reading it as if she does, but maybe I'm also reading into it as a hopeless romantic. But I'm like, I think she's just like really into it, and Ron's just not. So,
so bye.
Ron's
I read it
just
as
scared.
like obsessive almost.
Yeah.
And maybe she doesn't really care about him, but it's just like
a boyfriend.
yeah.
It's like I
Yep.
have a
Just wants
boyfriend
that,
and
yeah.
I treat
And then it's
you
like a
a
competition type
boyfriend.
thing. It's like, ooh, Hermione's coming around.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
Why
where I was
were
getting
you
the
with
obsessive
her?
things from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another line that we have. I see, said Dumbledore. So they're in the meeting right now. They're private lessons. And Dumbledore says, I see, said Dumbledore eventually, peering over Harry over the top of his half-moon spectacles and giving Harry the unusual sensation he was being x-rayed. Do you think Dumbledore is actually using legitimacy on Harry?
Oh.
That line caught me a little off guard.
But what were they talking about before that?
They were
Like,
talking about searching and like, did he procure Slughorn's memory? And Harry was making all sorts of excuses with Ron.
so
And
then
I mean,
he
he
just
did have a
wanted to
lot
get
of
the
good
answer.
excuses, to be honest. Ron almost died. He had
Yeah.
apparition lessons. A lot of stuff happened.
I don't think that he would. I feel like that's a line he may have drawn. But I'm just projecting that. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything he's said that's made me think that. I don't think he's ever said anything about like thoughts being private or whatever. But maybe he has. Because I would think he could pull things out of Slughorn or anyone he wanted to. But I feel like he doesn't do that.
So he was, I think it crossed his mind to do that with Slughorn, but I think Slughorn, he knows that he couldn't really do it because Slughorn has
He's
occupancy
actually
against
pretty
him.
good. Yeah. Yeah. But Harry wouldn't be able to.
And Harry's terrible at that.
Yeah.
If he was, what do you think you'd be looking for? Would that make you trust Dumbledore less? Is there some objective? Is there something in Harry that Dumbledore is like looking through or looking at?
what, that he like got the answer but not telling him?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Well, I still
think
don't
he
fully get why Harry had to get the answer to begin with. It doesn't really make sense to me. Harry did a good job in the end. Of course, we're skipping 2 chapters here, but like,
Because I don't think it's for actually. You think it's actually the memory? I think it's more to get Slughorn
to trust Harry.
to like have sympathy or be on Harry's side or see Harry in a different light than the chosen one. Like more an
Yeah.
emotional pull because he liked his mom so Slughorn liked Lily so much.
Right. And that's valid, but it just felt like
But not.
just from my perspective, because we're all just talking opinions, like I thought getting someone drunk and then asking them emotional questions didn't feel like rocket science, and it doesn't feel like that's above Dumbledore either. Like he's poured a couple drinks for people in the past,
But
and
would he have gotten drunk around Dumbledore? That's the question. And that's the
Maybe
part that
you're
Hermione
right.
was bringing up. The reason that Harry is able to do it and Dumbledore isn't because Slughorn is on guard against Dumbledore. He's not necessarily on guard against Harry.
And I think the weird part is that Slughorn didn't understand why his knowledge was important for the big picture, because we don't understand and Harry doesn't understand and Dumbledore hasn't told anybody. But Dumbledore I thought could have reasoned with Slughorn to get this information out, but the sacrifice would have been it would have required him to tell Slughorn more of the plan, and I don't think he wanted to do that. So maybe that's why Harry had to do it, but Slughorn didn't seem that unreasonable once he was drunk, where I thought, is this really Harry? And so it just brings back the question of, why does Dumbledore want Harry to be the one? Was it necessary, or is it more for Harry's growth? What's the big picture there? And I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe that's the other question. What is the big picture with all these memories? Is Harry, I think you guys mentioned once, this is like Dumbledore training Harry to figure out how he can overthrow Voldemort. But is that it? Is there anything else behind this?
I don't know. I mean, maybe this was Dumbledore trying to teach Harry just a lesson about not being so caught up in his own stuff. And even so, Harry did not. It took him a long time to actually get on board with doing what he was supposed to do and listen to Dumbledore here. So maybe it was just trying to help Harry grow up a little bit and put his priorities in the right place. Dumbledore is saying, ignore Malfoy, please, and do this thing I'm asking you. And Harry just could not do that. He kept going back to the thing he wanted to do, not what Dumbledore asked. So, I don't know.
Because he keeps saying this memory is so important. And we'll get to that later about why it's important. But there's got to be some real significance behind these things.
And the other funny part is that Dumbledore knows it's so important, but doesn't know what it is. So how does he know it's so important? And that feels like a bit of speculation too. So then I understand why Harry would be a little bit like, weird about it. Because I'm weird about it. Why, Dumbledore? Why? What could be revealed in the memory?
Which characters at this point are the most trustworthy? And is there anybody on the fence with you guys?
I trust everyone, so I don't know.
And I trust no.
I know. We're opposites. Snape, I don't trust.
Yeah,
But
McGonagall, I do.
sometimes I don't.
Whoa. When do you not trust McGonagall?
I forgot when it was, but it was in this book.
In the context of Harry, Ron, and Hermione? School stuff or
something with
Voldemort stuff?
school and
Okay.
because I remember. Remember Harry's blaming Draco Malfoy for the
for
charm necklace Katie Bell thing, and it felt like she was protecting him.
Yep.
As a cover up, so I thought that was different.
Wow, and that made you not trust her. Interesting.
I just put a little pebble.
A pebble of mistrust.
But I mean, come on, she's
of course, yeah.
Dumbledore's right hand in a way, but if
If
things were to go crazy.
Yeah.
And then, Hagrid, we trust in some ways, but not in others. I trust where his heart is at.
Yeah.
Just not
to the very end. I just don't trust his him being
keep
responsible,
secrets.
maybe. So yeah, that's a funny dynamic. I trust his motives.
Harry, Ron,
Hermione, yeah.
The Weasleys. Not all of them.
Not all of them, but most of them. I don't
Ginny. Luna.
Yeah, I trust Luna. I trust her dad.
You don't trust Ginny?
You trust
No,
her
no,
dad.
I trust.
Met her dad.
But he's a good guy. I can
You
tell.
like the newspaper.
Good quibble vibes. And I've assigned a lot.
Do you
random
remember what
stuff to him.
her dad's name is?
Oh, we know his name. I feel like it was Ernest or something. I don't remember.
Kind of close.
Kind
Xenophilius.
of close.
Ernest? I feel like Ernest is in Xenophilius.
It's in the round.
You know?
Xenophilius is his name. Maybe I read it and didn't even know that was
A
his
name?
Wow, that's an intense name.
He just literally fell into.
He just melted.
Oh,
You're
Like a
Wes.
big baby.
this is the first time I've ever seen him cuddling.
Yeah, he's pretty
I
cuddly
know.
today.
What
He's
happened?
feeling a little sick. That's why I think.
Oh,
You just need a
Poor
cuddle
Wes.
buddy, huh?
he's gonna crap all over you.
I know.
I wonder what
Pointed
house
at me.
Wes
I was gonna
down.
say he's getting that.
Here are some other lines in this. These are longer lines that I'll read, but this kind of gives us a weird depiction of Voldemort. This is the first. But now, Harry, said Dumbledore, now things become murkier and stranger. If it was difficult to find evidence about the boy riddle, it has been almost impossible to find anyone prepared to reminisce about the man Voldemort. In fact, I doubt whether there is a soul alive apart from himself who could give us a full account of his life since he left. I wonder whether you know what it is, Tom. Pick it up. Have a good look, whispered Hepzibah. And Voldemort stretched out a long-fingered hand and lifted the cup by one handle out of its silken wrappings. Harry thought he saw a red gleam in his dark eyes. His greedy expression was curiously mirrored on Hepzibah's face, except that her tiny eyes were fixed upon Voldemort's handsome features. A badger? Murmured Voldemort, examining the grave upon the cup. Then this was Helga Hufflepuff's, as you very well know, you clever boy, said Hepzibah, leaning forward with a loud creaking of corsets and actually pinching his hollow cheeks. Didn't I tell you I was distantly descended? This has been handed down in the family for years and years. Lovely, isn't it? And all sorts of powers it possesses, too. I haven't tested them thoroughly. I just keep it nice and safe in here. So what is she talking about with testing these powers?
Something to see if it makes your powers like a boost. I think of Mario Kart where like you have seriously. Like the extra boost.
Like a little amulet that like gives you, some kind of boost of your powers. So is Voldemort collecting these to boost his own power?
That's what it felt like. But then Dumbledore said that that's what he does. He just collects things. Remember, like when he was a child in the orphanage? Wow. He's Balto. Isn't that the statue?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, he said this in the orphanage. He said that he would just collect these objects, which is just a strange part of his personality. He's a hoarder, yeah.
But it's like to show, it's like a murderer, you know, they keep like the bones or the teeth of like their victims. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. It's like serial killers. Yeah, serial killers always have, what is it, like their calling card or their, I forgot the exact term. But like the thing they have to do it just so other people know that they're brilliant.
You know? Yeah, it's like their print on their souvenir of how many. I wish she tried it and like kind of gave us something.
I know.
Like what of the power?
Yeah, like I tested this one out and XYZ. But I didn't try this one out. I know. But I wanted to show it to you and put it back in the safe. It's
what
crazy.
What did it do though? That's the part I'm just curious about.
It boosts your powers.
Just boosts your power, like the sword of Gryffindor did for Harry in those moments. Well,
it knew that he needed help, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. And then this is the second time we've seen it's passed down to family members.
But could it also be like things work together? Like if you have it, it could boost your power, but then everything works together to help that situation. Because like what you were saying, it could be two separate things. But the Phoenix Fox brought the sword in the hat. Was it the sorting hat? No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of funny. In the hat. I kind of forgot about that.
He pulled it out of the hat. So I don't know if in the movie, it seems like it was like, it just appeared in the hat. Like it was magically, it wasn't really there. And then he pulled it out of the hat. But maybe it was, he just brought it in the hat.
But I'm like, that's what I guess I'm trying to say is like maybe the power behind it too is that things like just kind of work together to help you.
So does it have anything to do with like the founders? Because the sword, maybe it made Harry braver in an instance.
Oh yeah, because they have all the personality things. What was Hufflepuff again?
That was the cup. Helga Hufflepuff's was the cup.
Oh no, personality traits.
Like that's a Hufflepuff is about loyalty, hard work. There's like a little bit of healing in
What's
Hufflepuff's.
the Slytherin?
Ambition.
He definitely has ambition, and he's had the ring the longest, or the locket.
It was
or
so
both.
the ring was the.
No, we don't know yet.
Like the ring,
do we?
The locket was the descendant of Salazar Slytherin, and the ring.
The mom's locket and the ring would be like these items. We're thinking.
Right.
Is there anything for like Ravenclaw? Have we seen anything?
Are those Horcrux? We went over this, right? Is that
like are they Horcruxes?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, I mean they could be, but they don't. That doesn't seem evil though. And I still am assigning the founders as good intentioned. So, I mean, the sword of Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff.
What's Ravenclaw?
I don't think she's like doing bad things to a cup to
like
be like
witty or something.
Could we have seen the Ravenclaw item without knowing it?
Sure.
Could it be the sorting hat? Could it be
a sorting hat? That would be funny.
The sorting hat is
no, but
wise.
I thought it was. It told us who created the sorting hat. I thought in the beginning.
Yeah, it was the four founders.
They
created it together.
Yeah, they threw brains in the thing, and they. That's kind of what he says in the beginning.
I think,
but each house has their animal. So lion, badger, serpent, and raven or eagle. Eagle.
Oh yeah, that's so weird. Eagle.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then
the
Ravenclaw is eagle.
It's not a raven.
No. And they each have A ghost.
A ghost. I know.
They each have a person who's in charge of the house, which is like McGonagall, Sprout, Flitwick, and Snape. And they each have a ghost. The Bloody Baron is Slytherin's.
Nearly headless Nick is Gryffindor.
Then who is the other two?
I have no idea. I
haven't
don't even
really
know they
mentioned
had.
the other
Yeah,
two at
you're
all.
right, but they did mention they existed, and I think they might maybe even mention their name at the Death Day party.
Yeah.
But I can't remember.
So do they have?
Whoa, we're getting too nerdy for you again, Jen.
Do they each have an object too? Like
It would make sense for them to each have.
It sounds
all of
like they
these,
do, though.
And then you briefly mentioned, how are Horcruxes made?
Well, we're still not like positive they're physical things. So it'd be simple if it was.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a ghost or if it's a spell or a potion or something, then I don't know. And would Slughorn know? It would almost make sense if it was a potion, because Slughorn is such a potion person. And then that's why he was sharing it with Voldemort. Like,
Yeah, but maybe you put it on an object, and that's how it works.
you put a potion on an object. I mean,
you-
maybe. You soak it in there, let it boil for a bit.
It came out weird. Yes.
But I was just thinking that would be another reason for
Then
the cup too. Maybe
Half-Blood
would make
Prince,
sense.
if it is Voldemort, then it would make sense too, right? Because he's really good at potions,
Yeah.
so he's asking about this one particular.
Yep. And then he asks a potions professor. Wait, was he potions back then too?
Mm-hmm.
He was. So yeah, so it would kind of make sense. And then again with the Helga Hufflepuff thing, it's a cup. So it literally could be this cup. Like if you put a certain potion in a special cup, like made of gold or whatever, then it brings out.
Yeah, but then there's a
quality in it.
sword for Gryffindor and
And you're thinking
jewels
those
for-
are also like could be Horcrux related, or maybe you can only create a Horcrux if you bring all the things together. Like
right.
um,
He's collecting a lot of stuff, so that would make sense.
like if you create a Horcrux by bringing ancient magic things together, you can like pull the magic out of them into like another thing that becomes.
Or you're pulling the magic from a bunch of people that had it before.
Here are some other lines too, because this is we'll keep talking about Horcruxes. That's right, said Hepzibah delightedly, apparently at the sight of Voldemort gazing at her locket, transfixed. I had to pay an arm and a leg for it, but I couldn't let it pass. Not a real treasure like that. Had to have it for my collection. Burke bought it apparently from a ragged-looking woman who seemed to have stolen it, but I have no idea of its true value. There was no mistaking it this time. Voldemort's eyes flashed scarlet at her words, and Harry saw his knuckles whiten on the locket's chain. Time to leave, Harry, said Dumbledore quietly. And as the little elf bobbed away, bearing the boxes, Dumbledore grasped Harry once again above the elbow, and together they rose up through the oblivion and back to Dumbledore's office. Hepzibah Smith died 2 days after that little scene, said Dumbledore, resuming his seat and indicating that Harry should do the same. Hokey the house elf was convicted by the ministry of poisoning her mistress's evening cocoa by accident. So, what do you think of Voldemort, of Tom Riddle in this moment, and why is he collecting these objects? Because you were just talking about why he's collecting these objects.
Well, he's creepy to begin with. The fact that he has like this look in his eye, like this red glare of like evil that comes over him.
Yep.
And the fact that he has the power to change people's memories, that's what's so weird. So that's why I don't know these pensive, like, could he, like you were saying last time, I think, can he change someone's memory to think that this happened?
Well,
but
that's
it
what
didn't
I was
actually
afraid a
happen, and
Horcrux
then-
was. That it gives you the power to change someone's memory. Or that it gives you the power to take someone's magic away from them and absorb their power or something.
Those are good.
But yeah, it is weird. It is very weird. So whether he's controlling people or changing their memories or taking their power, well, taking their powers doesn't really apply here, but
yeah, because you mentioned that even a while ago, something that drains the power out of a wizard or something like that.
yeah, just because everyone keeps talking about how powerful Voldemort is, and it seems like people aren't born with power; it builds in them, and I'm wondering how. And same thing with these objects. I don't
But
think
it's like
objects
natural
just have
talent,
power.
and then you're like honing in on it.
Yeah, it's like
right?
both.
Like practicing.
Yep. It's like you practice when you want to master something, put in the 10,000 hours. But like it feels like it's more with Voldemort. Like it's beyond just, and even the people he's killing, it feels haphazard, like not just for power or not just for one less opponent, but like there's more motivation to it, it seems. So yeah. We still don't know what Voldemort really wants, to be honest, about this whole thing. So that's what makes it hard to understand.
I know. None of the pieces are coming together because you just don't know what he wants.
Yeah. Yep. We don't know what his real motivation is.
Yeah, and yours keeps slowing us down. Then we'll never know. Everyone's like, oh, come on. Don't you know?
You'll be done by book 6 by the time you guys are married. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Reasonable.
Is there anything else in the Hepzibah memory that seems odd to you guys? Anything else that was brought up? Anything strange?
It's weird that she just keeps them hidden, though. And, like, she must have so much money. I'm just surprised that... I'm surprised Voldemort didn't, like, charm her to get more things. Like, instead of just killing her and taking the stuff, if she's really wealthy, she could have bought him a bunch of stuff out there, all these ancient whatever, and then he could have collected. But he's an independent guy, so.
Yeah. Like, it feels like he doesn't have much of a plan yet. This is early on. So his instinct was, I want this. I need this now.
Could have been a sugar mama.
Yeah. Like, long term, wouldn't that make sense? You set up a little sugar mama. She's out there collecting stuff.
Yeah.
She's got an eye for this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And then she's already seduced. So she would do whatever he wants.
I know.
I wish this chapter was called The Sugar Mama.
What is it called again?
Lord Voldemort's request.
Oh, Sugar Mama's so much
better. I know.
Yeah.
It's not PG.
That could be a new award, the Sugar Mama Award.
Oh, boy.
No, I don't know if that one makes sense.
Don't make me think of another thing.
Here's a side question on all this, too. I keep having to ask these side questions. What do you think is... Let's go over a few people. What is their greatest weakness? What is Voldemort's greatest weakness?
He underestimates...
ancient magic.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's true. The love thing.
I think he's so purely evil, and we don't actually know, but like in a sense that Dumbledore has said he misunderstands things like love.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me. And there was something else Dumbledore called him out on, but I forget what it is. What did he call him out on? Something like Voldemort.
He says it in the next chapter. I'll read that line in the next one.
But I was even thinking early
Dumbledore.
on, like in the Ministry and a debrief with Harry afterwards, he was saying like Voldemort thinks this, but he underestimates. He doesn't understand. I don't know, but Dumbledore seems to know. Maybe that's was something in that whole like the love. Yeah,
he doesn't think that the love is strong enough. He thinks that that's
and because he's alone and friendless, he doesn't understand.
He's gotten through life very well on his own.
Yeah,
without any love from anyone.
Right.
And he doesn't want to introduce that because that's scary. And he doesn't need it.
Yeah. What is Dumbledore's greatest weakness?
Trusting everyone.
Oh, I would say the opposite.
Really? He gives everyone second chances, I guess.
Which is a good thing, but he just doesn't really let people in. Nobody, he hasn't let anyone really in.
So they're very similar, Voldemort and Dumbledore.
Whoa. In a sense, maybe.
But he has
you're
friends.
right. Does Dumbledore have any real friends?
He does.
Or is he actually alone?
The Sorcerer's Stone guy? I don't know.
Nicholas
That's
Flamel.
Fascinating.
Well, just because
he has Fawkes too. What is he has Nagini.
I don't think he's not that trusting though.
Well, I'm just thinking of Harry only,
I was gonna say you're pinning it on Harry because like at the end of was it the last book where he like sent everyone out? Like he sent Snape on a mission, he sent McGonagall on a mission.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if he wasn't trusting, he would have just done all that on his own.
But does he tell people what he's doing? Why doesn't he tell why does no one know where he's going?
Oh,
why
like
does he
the
not trust
main
people?
Yeah, like there are just certain things he's doing on his own. Again, we only get Harry's perspective. We don't know. He could be looping in McGonagall on every step he's doing. He could be looping in a lot of people.
Yeah, but I think it's...
But I don't know. What do you think? You think it's...
Because he's just so powerful that like it's like it would be a burden on people if they actually knew what he was doing because then they would find out they would be able to get information. And what is that called when you're like torturing someone for information?
Like, either blackmail or like yeah.
So like I think it's better for them just to not know.
I know what you mean, and I understand Dumbledore's mindset. He's probably right too. But there is a certain level of arrogance there. Like, no, I'm just saying, if you're saying from Dumbledore's perspective, if he's thinking, well, other people would be burdened if they knew, or I just have to do this thing. There is an underlying arrogance to knowing he's the best. Arrogance is not a fair word. Maybe it's just self-awareness if he genuinely is the best. And he knows he's the best, so he's got a plan. He doesn't need to loop everyone in on it all the time. He's just out doing things. Or maybe if people knew what he was up to, it would have negative ramifications. But either way, from our perspective, he keeps saying he's going to keep Harry in the loop, but he doesn't really. He's starting to. Like, he's bringing Harry on these little missions and stuff.
He's a kid.
But he is the chosen one.
But he doesn't even know what that means.
I know. Yeah, and we don't even know if it's real, but it seems like it. But I don't know.
Raise your glass to Perry Otter, the chosen boy who...
Perry Otter.
Oh.
And Aragog.
Yeah. Here's another...
oh, yeah, that's why you got the wine.
Yes.
Here's a few other lines when we go into the other memory. And this is one of the first. So, Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure? Voldemort did not answer at once, but merely sipped his wine. They do not call me Tom anymore, he said. These days, I am known as... I know what you are known as, said Dumbledore, smiling pleasantly. But to me, I'm afraid you will always be Tom Riddle. It is one of the irritating things about old teachers, I'm afraid.
I
that
love
they never
that.
quite forget their charges, youthful beginnings. Why is Dumbledore calling Tom such a flex? That's like such a great line of the whole thing. But why is it so powerful that he calls him Tom?
Because it gives him no power. It's like before you were anything.
I brought you into this
when
world.
I saw you in the orphanage.
I can take you out of it.
Yeah. It was a little nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that messes with him too. Like, he wants no connection to that anymore. And it was a muggle.
Yep.
Tom Riddle was his dad, who was a muggle that didn't love him.
It's reminding him that, yeah.
Can you imagine saying
There's
that?
a lot.
Okay, Tom Riddle.
And this is the longer line that we get in this chapter too. I've come to ask you that you permit me to return to this castle to teach. I think you must know that I have seen and have done much since I left this place. I could show and tell your students things they can gain from no other wizard. Dumbledore considered Voldemort over the top of his own goblet for a while before speaking. Yes, I certainly do know that you have seen and done much since leaving us, he said quietly. Rumors of your doings have reached your old school, Tom. I should be sorry to believe half of them. Voldemort's expression remained impassive, and he said, Greatness inspires envy. Envy engenders spite. Spite spawns lies. You must know this, Dumbledore. You call it greatness what you have been doing, do you? Asked Dumbledore delicately. Certainly, said Voldemort, and his eyes seemed to burn red. I have experimented. I have pushed the boundaries of magic, perhaps further than they have ever been pushed. Of some kinds of magic, Dumbledore corrected him quietly. Of some, of others, you remain, forgive me, woefully ignorant. What's he talking about here? He's talking about the power of love, but what does that actually mean in the whole grand scheme of things? What is this magical power of love?
Powerful. What is it?
Yeah.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
I know.
That one's stuck in my head.
Again, a lot of this discussion is kind of abstract because these words are abstract. Like love is an abstract thing, and she's trying to give it substance. She's trying to give it concreteness. But that's really difficult to do. Is the idea of magic, even what we talked about before, the idea of music, is the idea of these things that they cannot be put into words, which is why it's so hard.
Well, I think sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But it's remember the emotion, like when they're learning these spells, it's like you have to have the emotion behind it for it to actually work.
Mhm.
So like if you don't even tap into like love, so like you're missing this whole chunk of an emotion, like a whole emotion. So you might be tapping into like the evil part of yourself, but you're not going to be balanced or well-rounded as a wizard if you're not tapping into the love part.
That's a great
Emotion.
point. One of my questions on the next chapter was why is Snape teaching them a different way to conquer a Dementor? Because Harry and Snape get into an argument about Dementors. Is Snape not a joyful person? Does he not allow joy to come into his life?
Seems like it.
And does that make him not a well-rounded wizard?
Because I think maybe why Dumbledore is so well known is because he knows how to like kind of tap into all emotions.
And control them.
Especially the patient and loving one.
Yeah.
Which seems to outweigh everything. Because love wins.
And that's like the moral of all these stories. Like, especially in the Star Wars. I'm thinking of the whole Star Wars saga right now. Like, Anakin goes over the dark side because there's powers there that he can tap into that he thinks he can save people that he loves. But it's not really true. It's not really the truth.
No, because the power is never outweighs love for someone.
And that's like the whole moral of the story. But is there some slight, like, is Dumbledore missing out on certain things because he's not tapping into Voldemort's side of things?
No, because you're self-destruct, I think.
Like dark magic, you mean?
Yeah, like there's only so much you could do, like pride and narcissism. No, I said that wrong. Whatever.
No, you said it right.
Until you kind of self-destruct, like you kind of, I mean, we all see those movies and books, and we're reading one where the character just keeps looking out for themselves, and then they have no one.
Yeah.
And then they end up like defeated by whoever.
And it's crazy that Voldemort says nothing I have seen in the world has supported your famous pronouncements that love is more powerful than my kind of magic. Nothing. He's not experienced any love that he viewed as powerful. And I think that speaks to his mindset and where he is. He doesn't have people around him that love him. So he doesn't believe in the power of love.
He never gave anyone a chance.
Yeah. Yep. Perhaps you've been looking in the wrong places, suggested Dumbledore.
But maybe that's a backfire of the love potion. Maybe.
What do you mean?
Because Tom Riddle's
mom.
because
he was formed out of fakeness, not real love.
Yeah.
Oof. It's intense.
So
hold on. So you think that Dumbledore is the way he is because he was born out of a love potion?
No, not Dumbledore.
No, not Dumbledore.
Or
Voldemort.
Yeah. I think there could be like side effects. Isn't there consequences to things?
Because if someone is born out of, well, we don't need to get into details of how children are made, but I don't think there was as much romance in Voldemort's conception.
So was it,
and would that have a negative impact on how he grows up?
Well,
Not
I mean,
just the nurture, but even the nature.
I think it's the potion part of it too. I don't know. Right, like the actual
just
potion.
like we heard that
you're like tricking.
Isn't
someone.
Felix Felicis like kind of poison?
Yeah.
And wouldn't the same be true for a love potion? You know, like it's a good thing, but if you start like using it all the time, you might build up a tolerance or have to start doing more. And it could have negative side effects or even poison. And maybe that poison means that whenever it wears off, there is deep resentment from Tom Riddle Sr. And that's why it led or ended the way it did. But it certainly could have effects on Voldemort if his life began with all of that poison potion energy. But
like not to be crude or weird, but like power in like love making. Like there's some kind of magical power there that if things go awry, then there's consequences on the offspring of those people.
Right.
So for something like this, where it's essentially boils down to rape, and lovelessness on one person's part. It does severe damages to Tom.
Yep.
Mentally.
Yeah.
I think.
And I guess this is the nature nurture because he was nurtured not in a great way either.
Right. Double whammy.
Right. Like he could have had a good.
For sure.
But he wasn't open to it either.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how he was treated in the orphanage.
Yep. And I love, because you guys made this comparison a while ago, comparing Lily and comparing, why am I blanking on her name? Voldemort's mother.
Merope.
Yeah, sorry. Wow, that was bad.
Loving their sons.
One sacrifices like herself
in
for
spite
her
of
son.
or because of.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, right.
Here is another one, because we were just talking about this one too. I am surprised you have remained here so long, said Voldemort after a short pause. I always wondered why a wizard such as yourself never wished to leave the school. Does Tom have a point there? Why does Dumbledore not leave the school and pursue bigger and better things? Is headmaster at Hogwarts the highest thing that he should attain to?
If it's about grooming the chosen one and protecting the ancient magic hidden at Hogwarts, then maybe it's the greatest thing he could do. But at least for now, I read this as he just needed to protect the school from Voldemort and make sure that Voldemort could not come back.
Because he sees the future.
Maybe. Or he's just good at anticipating, predicting, guessing. I don't know. But all this time, like till then, it made sense. But once Voldemort was rising to power and he was like clearly evil, why did Dumbledore stay? I feel like we're going to learn more about Hogwarts and the things going on there, ancient magic, etc. And then it's gonna click why he stayed at Hogwarts specifically.
Okay, so yeah, there's the two interesting questions, because this is the next line that we get. Dumbledore set down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seats, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight, surrounded by henchmen, to request a job we both know that you do not want? Voldemort looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want? On the contrary, Dumbledore, I want it very much. Oh, you want to come back to Hogwarts, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. What is it that you're after, Tom? Why not try an open request for once? So Dumbledore doesn't want to leave, but why does Tom actually want to come back? Do you think that Voldemort wants to come back and teach, or is he after something else? And if he's after something else, what is he after?
I'm taking Dumbledore at what he said here, that he does not want to teach. He's here for something else. Either a general thing at the school, general energy, or research in the library, or hidden chambers. He actually wants to open the Chamber of Secrets, but himself personally, could be more layers to that. Could be other things.
Collecting
could be
people.
Artifacts, or
well, he did open the Chamber of Secrets initially.
Yeah, but
it was
I
like
feel
half.
And he was young. He didn't know anything back then. I feel like he knows more. Or there could be, he might just want the Sword of Gryffindor, or like other things that are at Hogwarts, like artifacts we know. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, if there were other artifacts, we know that Dumbledore was keeping things in Gringotts. So Dumbledore in some ways viewed Gringotts as safer than Hogwarts. So it just seems a little weird. Now I'm just kind of questioning why. And we don't know the dynamic yet, but I don't think Voldemort wanted to be a teacher.
And he probably also is like collecting like his roster.
But like what? What's next on his roster?
The more Death Eaters.
Oh, you think it was about the people, like being able to infect young minds? And,
I think so.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
And finding people that are similar to him and collecting them and grooming them to be like him.
Like a different version of Slughorn almost.
Yeah, a worse evil.
And could he have seen a prophecy before Trelawney, before whatever with Dumbledore, a prophecy about his own rise to power?
Or he can be teaching his
fall?
own spells if he's the Half-Blood Prince. He could teach
like
all
spells?
them the bad spells. Sorry, I cut you off, I think.
No, just the idea of if he already knew Harry was coming, a chosen one, he could be on the lookout for the chosen one.
But this was before that, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying if he got a prophecy,
before that, actually.
It doesn't even matter. Like if he got a prophecy that, for example, someone will rise through the ranks of Hogwarts and eventually grow to defeat you if you don't stop them. or like whatever. It could be a prophecy
different prophecy
as
than
simple.
he-
Yeah, totally separate prophecy by a different seer. Something else that would make Voldemort say, I need to be at Hogwarts to prevent my potential downfall.
I mean, because you guys were even talking to like the school has some kind of lore to it. The school has some kind of like magical protection over it. So maybe this is like the final piece that Voldemort needs in order to like either gain followers, gain immortality, whatever it might be. There's magic at the school that is creating entities like Peeves. There's some kind of deeper ancient magic, dark magic, whatever it might be. There's something going on here. But Dumbledore's line, one of his last lines, is actually really tragic. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayments for your crimes.
Oh, yeah.
But I wish I could, Tom. I wish I could. So what do you guys think of this whole memory? And is there anything else that we missed that you guys wanted to talk about for this one?
No, I just keep thinking of the red eyes from the last memory. I think it maybe even came up again here.
Yeah.
Like it came up scarlet, red. It came up a bunch of times. Like just seeing red.
His description in the second memory is more gross and more like he's becoming serpent-like.
Yep.
That was a really good description.
He's
I
not
didn't see
charming
The one where it
looking
was
anymore.
like he was like
Yeah.
waxy.
that. Yeah.
That's because he's experimenting on himself, right?
Seems like it.
Ugh. And then I'm just trying to think of the timing, assuming this would be 1955 or 1960, somewhere in that zone. It would have to be, depending on how long it took him to actually rise in the ranks of Borgin and Burkes. And could that line up with anything else that we know with Lily or James Potter? Again, with the idea of it seemed like Potter specifically, like he was after the Potters. And again, I'm thinking of prophecies. Did he know the Potters were dangerous before he knew Harry Potter was dangerous? And was that part of him wanting to get back to the school to be prepared for if they, like James Potter was going to come into school? And it seems a little much to say preparing for James Potter. Like, why not just go find him individually? I don't know. Or does he still need to win people over to his side? Like you were saying, students, maybe. I don't know. Not much else that I saw in here, but just a lot of other questions and interesting things. And then at the end of this chapter, I was just thinking of the curse on the Defense Against the Dark Arts roll. Yeah. It's like the first time it's so clearly said that we're like, whoa, like we thought this was lore. This was a rumor. This was like this is a joke real. Ron talked about. And then we're like, oh no, like that it started then. It started in 1960 or potentially even earlier. That's a long time for every single year it to be a new teacher. So, you know, we're kind of left to think that Voldemort cursed the roll, but then it also makes us wonder if it's an actual curse, what's going to happen to Snape by the end of this year.
That's what I was thinking.
And we've never seen a teacher leave and then take another role in the school. We've seen them go away from Hogwarts altogether. But we've also never seen a Death Eater teach Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Okay, and that's a great question. What is going to happen to Snape at the end? Is this like the fulfillment of what Voldemort wanted? He wanted someone
from
in
the
there.
Beginning, he needs one of his people.
Yeah, one of his people. So now will Snape have this position next year?
Man,
or what else could happen to him?
Well, we don't know why Voldemort wanted to be in the role to begin with. I thought it was more about exploring ancient magic in the castle, you know, hidden things, artifacts, whatever. But is Snape doing that for Voldemort right now? Is that being done? Is that mission being accomplished, whatever it is? Or was it already accomplished through Quirrell or something else? Or did Dumbledore move whatever Voldemort's mission was to Gringotts or somewhere else, or hid it away somewhere? I don't know. But I think Snape being in the role does fulfill something. It could even end the curse if he's able to do what Voldemort wanted him to do. It could complete it so that we see Snape in the same role next book. But what is it? And does he still have to do it? Or did he already complete whatever Voldemort wanted?
What would happen if Snape is removed from the position? Would he go back to potions? Because Slughorn is only there for a year. So is it maybe they find another defense against the dark arts teacher, and Snape just lasts a year, so he goes back to potions? Or does something more serious happen to Snape? Does Snape end up dying or something like that? Does Snape... What else would happen to Snape that he would... If it was that he's not fulfilling what Voldemort originally wanted him to do?
He's gonna die before that because Malfoy is like dying.
Oh yeah, that was weird too. You're right.
And he's bound to him.
So maybe Voldemort is having Malfoy do the thing that he wanted to do, that in theory Snape could be doing, but Snape maybe isn't. And then Malfoy is having a really hard time with it, and that's why he's aging so crazy. Or like whatever's happening with Malfoy, he's looking sickly. But then does Tonks get roped into that? Maybe next chapter we'll get into it. But what will happen to Snape? It all depends whether maybe Malfoy could still break that curse by whatever he's working on. But if Malfoy fails, then, well, Snape then has an unbreakable oath to make sure Malfoy doesn't fail. So then they both accomplish whatever needs to be done, and then the curse would be broken.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So let's keep talking about that. Let's go on to chapter 21, because that's kind of what some of that is. The Unknowable Room. What happens in chapter 21, the Unknowable Room?
You want me to do it?
Oh, yeah. I wrote something, but go for it.
I mean, mine isn't great.
Yeah, mine either.
Harry thinks Malfoy is spending his time in the room of requirement, and he tries to figure out how to get inside the room. That's all I got.
Yeah, and I just wrote that Tonks was up there away from her post looking for Dumbledore, looking really sick, and then out of it. Fishy.
And her Patronus looked like a dog. Potentially. Four-legged.
And wait, they also mentioned in this chapter something I mentioned about being in love. And I was like,
I was like, wait, what? And I was like, what?
I was like, wait, but didn't we say they couldn't be in love because
I thought they were cousins?
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
They're somewhat distantly related. They're... I guess it's like second or third or fourth.
Is it second or third or fifth or whatever? Either way, the fact that Harry said that, I was like, what the? That's so weird.
I don't care how cousins
but
are.
I'm glad Harry was on the same page as me, but it just was awkward because nobody else even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, oh no, Harry, that's a dumb idea because didn't you know they're related?
Well, they also mentioned this other point, and we'll talk about this right now. This is one of the lines in the dead middle of the chapter. God, I've been so stupid, he said quietly. It's obvious, isn't it? There was a great vat of it down in the dungeon. He could have nicked some at any time during that lesson. Nicked what? Said Ron. Polyjuice potion. He stole some polyjuice potions Slughorn showed us in our first potion lesson. There aren't a whole variety of students standing guard for Malfoy. It's just Crabbe and Goyle as usual. Yeah, it all fits. So is
thing I
Draco,
said.
a.k.a. Danny, or is Harry right about Draco, a.k.a. Danny?
Well, to be honest, I was throwing it out there as a 25% chance, 30%, whatever. And then I felt for a moment, yeah, all right, good. Harry thinks the same as me. And then I was like, oh man, but if Harry thinks it's probably wrong, once it's written, then I'm like, oh, well, it's probably not true.
After book 5, whatever Harry thinks is wrong.
Yeah, right. But then, again, there's plenty of ways they could still be deceiving us, they being JK. But Harry saw on the Marauders map that it said Gregory Goyle.
Yeah.
And then he gets there and it's the girl. So as a straight read, that confirmed that was a Polyjuice Goyle. Cool. But the room of requirement, everything else, that's still, we don't know. That Harry has not seen that happen. And he was obsessing over it. I still thought he should have had that map out a little more often. And even if he's not going to see the room, he could still watch Malfoy like walk into the room on the 7th floor corridor, stuff like that. But we didn't even see that yet. So we don't know it's the room of requirement. I'm glad he gave it a bunch of tries. I'm curious why he couldn't get in there unless Malfoy's requirement trumps his somehow. Because it's required that nobody else can access the room of requirement while he's doing it or something. But I don't know. It's a weird one.
So this is one of the first lines of the chapter, though. Harry fully expected to receive low marks on his because he had disagreed with Snape on the best way to tackle Dementors. He did not care. Slughorn's memory was the most important thing to him now. So what is Snape's tactic on taking on Dementors? And is it better than Harry's? Because I thought the thing that you mentioned, Jen, was really interesting because it's like you have to be a well-rounded wizard. So is Snape not a well-rounded wizard because he's not tapping into this joy? Is Snape incapable of joy? He seems like it as a character, to be honest. And why would he be incapable of that?
Because his parents had a love potion.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't. Because, I mean, wouldn't that affect you though? Like if they were like, you know, like mood disorders or something like that, where like, then is their magic skewed too? I mean, we saw Tonks couldn't perform, and she looked weird when she was depressed with Sirius. So maybe
is Snape like experiencing the long-term effects of something like that?
Yeah, he wanted Lily, but he didn't get her. That would be good, actually.
Oof.
I don't know if anything in the read really shows that he wanted to.
She protected him.
Yeah, but that's like almost like a pity thing.
Yeah, that's like
that's like
Lily's
worse
sympathy.
than anything. Like
she's
older and stronger. Okay? Yeah, no, like it's a nice thing all the same.
It's nice,
but I feel like a lot of guys would feel totally weak if that happened. Yeah, it'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go hide forever. Is there like an evil opposite of a Patronus? Like you focus on evil thoughts and angry things, and you get a big old beast that comes out of you and can fight. But it's like a negative, dark thing. It doesn't actually
say what it was, right?
It just hinted that there was a disagreement. And
how else would you? Yeah, how else would you tackle a Dementor?
Can you just make a shield around yourself?
Yeah,
like
that's
self-protecting.
What a Patronus is? It's a shield charm.
That's true, but I meant like without thinking of happy thoughts. It's like just a matter
like
of fact,
Protego
like
kind of shield. What was it? Is that what it is? Protego.
Yep.
But that's what Harry did to block
Come on.
a
Jen,
spell.
You don't have to you have to laugh every time.
Yeah, not every time. You're as nerdy as us.
He can recall it like that, like that. He's at your level, John. So yes, I can laugh.
But that seems like it's more about spells and charms. It's like in a duel, you would do like a shield, but the Dementors seem weirdly powerful that they go beyond some of that. It's like a different emotional level that they're at.
I feel like he would be
it's not physical, maybe.
He wants to like show, like I feel like Snape's the type that would be like show your strong side, not like your emotions.
Right.
So you put up a front or something.
I am curious what that would be like, putting up a front of something else. Like essentially you're saying a shield, but just like fueled by something more.
But also maybe could he be teaching them like occlumency and whatever?
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
So like you're turning off your mind so they can't actually see
because they're seeking the memories.
What you're afraid of.
Interesting. Yeah, that's actually an interesting
So you block them from seeing your happy memories.
Yeah.
I feel like Snape is good at
might
that.
not even have happy memories, but either way, he can block off his mind. And well, that would also kind of make sense because I think it was Hermione was talking about Imperious curses and forcing people to do what you want, and like I feel like the Imperious curse is in the same realm, you know, of like influencing people, getting in their minds. So maybe
that's what he teaches all his Death Eaters.
Voldemort.
Sorry, yes, Voldemort.
Teaches
maybe that's
them
why he teaches all of them how to like the occlumency, where you get into people's minds and you can teach them. Because like you're saying, in order to do like an Imperious curse or something, what you made such a grand entrance to get.
I didn't want to like steal it and bring it over here.
Why? Well, you know I won't touch that.
Those things are good.
Yeah, you're gonna
Trader Joe's.
destroy that.
No, it's on a book.
Oh, that's dirty. But it's your book.
Yeah, but who knows where it's been?
Snack break.
So, I was like,
These are gigantic.
What is it?
what is
banana
that?
chips?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I haven't tried them, but I think they look good. So
Are these all Trader Joe's?
yeah.
Nice.
Danny's a Trader Joe now.
Yeah, you are. You're a TJ.
So skeptical, and now we got to
you
love
just
it.
dropped one. You're gonna squish it right
Gotta
under
give
your
him no
leg.
choice. Don't give any other
I know.
snacks.
We just need one closer.
Yes.
Can't chew in the mic.
Whoa, those are big chips.
Here's another a completely off topic one too. This is a funnier line because this chapter it kind of brings back some of the funny stuff, which is again why I love this book so much because it goes from serious to like fun really seamlessly. Excuse me. It's one of Fred and George's spell checking ones, but I think the charm must be wearing off. Yes, it must be, said Hermione, pointing at the title of his essay, because we're asked how to deal with Dementors, not Dugbogs. And I don't remember you changing your name to Runel Weasley either. Ah, no, said Ron, staring horror-struck at the parchment. Don't say I'll have to write the whole thing out again. It's okay, we can fix it, said Hermione, pulling the essay toward her and taking out her wand. I love you, Hermione, said Ron, sinking back in his chair, rubbing his eyes wearily. Is this
That
the
was
first time?
so cute.
Yeah, is this the first time Ron said I love you to Hermione?
To her? Yeah, probably.
I feel like he may have said those words some other time, but maybe not.
I didn't mean it.
Well, not in like a romantic sense,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I feel like he may have like said something along these lines. But either way, this was like she heard it and turned pink, and that was very cute.
So
but a little
cute.
less cute by the fact that he's dating somebody else right now.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
'cause you don't do that.
There's a weird love triangle going on right now. There's
And
a
then
lot of
Hermione
weird love
spends
triangles.
20 minutes fixing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was no quick fix.
Yep.
She was really going for it.
Yep.
Yep.
What is Malfoy doing
It's all
in?
busted ends,
Yeah, I
Max.
know these mic stands are rough. I gotta get new ones. What is Malfoy doing in the Room of Requirement?
Who knows? I have no idea. I would like to know.
Ancient magic. I'm thinking this is part of his mission for Voldemort specifically.
But what is it?
Well, the weird part is I won't say we. I've been thinking this whole time that Malfoy's mission was about killing Harry. But how does this work into that? And now this makes me think the mission is more like two parts. And this was the reason that Voldemort wanted to be in the castle to begin with, being a teacher. And this is something maybe Voldemort even started to discover when he was a student at Hogwarts. And now Malfoy is using the Room of Requirement to kind of go in that direction. It's also possible Malfoy's only mission is to kill Harry, but he's using the Room of Requirement to do the snake process that Voldemort did to become Snake Man Voldemort, where that's why Malfoy is starting to look a little shabby because he's in the process of becoming a snake.
Gross.
Is that
But that
actually-
would be totally separate
Yeah, but
from
you know what?
Voldemort's
Wait,
instructions.
that just gave me an idea.
Ooh, nice. What you got?
Well, you know how
That was not discreet. Sorry, Jen.
The mic's so high. I'm just
It was discreet
functioning by
on
myself,
audio,
you know?
not on video.
It's loud. That's not discreet. Audio is very
Well,
loud.
for the mics, you put the mic away, so we're not going to
It
be able to
was-
hear that really.
Well, I heard
Jen's mic is probably picking it up because it was loud.
Sorry,
you
Jen,
have
keep
it on
going.
like 5 times. I forgot. Oh no, Voldemort. Yeah, don't keep that mic over there.
I love when Jen cracks herself up.
Because while he eats, we can quickly talk. Go.
Nobody said anything the whole time.
I know, I'm busy laughing because I can't get over it, and I forgot what I was going to say. Voldemort.
So we were just talking about Malfoy, Voldemort. What Malfoy is.
He's gonna practice. He's gonna. How Voldemort got to that creature that he is. Maybe he was giving lessons written out for Malfoy to practice these spells, and it slowly chips away at your humanity. It's really great theory.
Because that is what Voldemort is. It's
Spells.
happening to Voldemort.
Right. We're seeing it.
But maybe because it's like he's whatever he told Dumbledore that he's done magic, he's pushed the limit. So maybe he's giving Malfoy like, okay, well, if you really want to be a Death Eater, you have to prove it to me and do all these spells and practice them. And then when you come to me, you have to show me you can do them, and it kind of eats away at you.
And maybe it was harder for Voldemort to do his snake thing elsewhere. But Malfoy can do it in an accelerated timeline at Hogwarts for some reason. There's something about Hogwarts.
Well, he's not having to figure it out. Voldemort had
it's
to
already
figure
like
it
a
out.
path has been drawn out. Yeah.
That was weird, but that's my theory while you're chewing.
I guess the mission of Draco is another weird one. Is there anything, like, what would he be turning the room into? Again, it seemed like there's multiple parts to his plan for some reason. But what
could
is
he turn it into a room where you can like meet up with Voldemort? Like,
I was going to say meet up with his dad. And the reason he's looking sad is just because he's spending all his time talking to his dad about stuff.
Wait,
and it's like,
I don't think you could actually do that. That seems like
a violation,
Hogwarts,
right?
Well, not even a violation. I feel like Hogwarts just wouldn't allow that. Is there any way that the room could be a passageway to like some other place? I don't know. That seems like
I don't think so. I don't think it could be Flu Network. I don't think it could be.
Well, doesn't Azkaban? Do they sell the Dementors? Because it could look like he got. You know how like they suck the joy out of you.
Ooh. He's
Wait,
like
what do you
harnessing
mean?
the power of
I've got
Dementors?
Yes.
Who, Malfoy?
Yeah.
Wait, to do what though?
No, I'm just saying I wasn't sure if like maybe you mentioned like could it be a pathway? I'm like, well, maybe he's going to visit his dad in Azkaban, and if the Dementors are still there, maybe it's sucking the joy out of him. So when he comes back,
like when he's there, and that's why he looks a little frail.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting. That's actually really fascinating.
Because
Very interesting.
Have we seen something in Hogwarts? I'm trying to think. Have we seen something in Hogwarts where like a student is transported to another spot other than
the
Flu Network we've seen? They open it for apparition for a little bit. I don't think that we've seen any other way that students go easily to and from the castle.
Well, there's those secret passages that are on the map, but that's different, right?
The castle, it seems to like forbid that, the castle.
But could you do the rumor requirement?
Ooh, you know what though? We don't know about paintings. That's the only other thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Or that mirror that Harry had. We don't know what could have happened to it.
So wait, so Malfoy is practicing being in a painting.
He's an artist, actually. He becomes Bob Ross when he goes in the room requirement.
He becomes a painting.
Again, that's like your theory before. The more realistic you paint something, that actually happens. So like he's really trying to become a realistic painter and paint his exact house so that he can go into it. So he's just focusing on that.
And if his dad was doing some kind of Azkaban thing, painting something else, there could be a paint portal, you know?
We still don't know the items that he had too in their house. The Malfoys.
You're right. And does Draco have that at school?
Maybe he's making them a Horcrux, his items.
You're making a Horcrux
I don't
to do
know.
what?
I have no idea.
And it's supposed to suck up other wizards' powers, but it's accidentally absorbing some of his.
Yes. And Snape, because they're attached. And he didn't even know they were attached.
And I keep thinking of the Horcruxes as being absorbing power or something else. But what if it's actually life and it ages you? So like Malfoy accidentally got a year of his life sucked into a Horcrux potion, and that's what Voldemort keeps doing because he wants to live forever. So he keeps absorbing life out of people, and he's having Malfoy do this at Hogwarts because there's a lot of life and vibrance there.
But he's only... Oh, and that's why he's bringing all these girls up to this room to suck their life out.
Whoa. Just to be clear, we're assuming that this is all just Crabbe and Goyle. But I could also not be, but...
I don't know what's going on. Oh my gosh. So we just flat out don't know what he's doing in this room, in the room of requirement, right?
No clue. I'm not even that convinced he's in there. 75%.
75%?
You're 75% sure you know what he's doing.
No, that he's even in the room of requirement.
Oh, okay.
Like, I wouldn't be that surprised if they're like, Oh, also, there's a secret passageway corridor on the 7th floor in the same spot, but it's behind a painting, or it's under the floor, or it's behind a curtain, or around this gargoyle, and then it leads to another place entirely that's also off the map. So we're thinking room of requirement because that's where it is. Okay, fine, that makes some sense. But what if it has nothing to do with that? It's totally like a mistake. It could be like when the chamber was open and the basilisk was going through the ductwork and all that. Like, what if he's just entering some of the ductwork here and going into some other secret room or secret passageway or dungeon? I know 7th floor seems a little odd. What if it's the opposite? He's going to the roof and he's doing some crazy thing up on the roof in some big old tower, or he's using it to get somewhere else. He could be sneaking into Dumbledore's office or some other
So it's becoming a
teacher's
passage
classroom.
within the castle itself.
Yeah. I was
Because
just
I think there has been an object that's done that before. They Fred and George shoved someone into I don't know if it was a toilet or
and I went to
or something.
Oh, it was the toilet.
Montague.
And he appeared in a closet.
Yeah.
You're right. Forgot about that. But he went crazy.
Yeah. So I think you can. Yeah, that's right. There's been something where you can transport from one place in the castle to another, but that's like maybe he is sneaking into Dumbledore's office when Dumbledore's gone. Maybe he's going to the Chamber of Secrets or something like that, trying to reopen it.
About that.
I was just thinking, rather than it being some magical getting whisked off somewhere, I was thinking actually climbing through a vent, like through a pipe or whatever.
Yeah, but he's read the
physically
books
to go
before.
somewhere else. Well, yeah, but John's still good at playing dumb that we have no idea.
Come on, yeah.
Come on, yeah.
How many times I've thrown you guys off sense for certain things?
No, I have
True.
no
Throwing you
idea,
guys
John.
onto
I'm not allowed to
sense.
see Reddit. I'm not allowed to know the future.
So, do you think
No,
that
you're good.
this what?
No, you're a good host.
Thank you. Do you think that this person that Myrtle is talking about is Draco, or is it another student?
Wait, can you refresh my memory on this?
So, yeah, she says
said
this.
someone.
So there's two things. Sorry, what's this other line? When you say you had lots in common, said Ron, sounding rather amused now. Do you mean he lives in an S-Bend too? No, said Myrtle defiantly, her voice loudly echoing around the old tiled bathroom. I mean, he's sensitive. People bully him too, and he feels lonely. And he hasn't got anybody to talk to, and he's not afraid to show his feelings and cry. Who is this? Is it too obvious that it's Draco? Is it someone else?
I never thought it was Draco till
Really?
right now. Yeah, I thought it was Neville.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sad because I was like,
God.
oh man, maybe he doesn't have that many friends. Even though like he does have friends, but are they real friends? Like how often is Harry hanging out with him?
Yeah.
Ron, Hermione, anyone else? All
Is
these
Dean
other
and-
guys.
yeah.
Dean and Seamus, they're
Yeah.
kind of doing
Wait,
their own thing.
could Voldemort make himself look like a kid?
With Polyjuice,
With
yeah.
a vat of polyjuice.
Voldemort's been wandering around the castle, disguised as Neville Longbottom.
Oh my. Oh my.
No, I was just thinking, that sounds like he wouldn't be like that emotional though, because I'm like that kind of sounds like it could have been Tom Riddle
Ooh.
back in the day, like he had no friends and blah blah blah. But I feel like he
Hold on.
wouldn't.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Let's stick on that for a second. This could be the reanimated soul of Voldemort, or not necessarily reanimated, but like Tom Riddle. Is he walking around the school maybe as a ghost? Because Draco conferring with like the ghost of Tom Riddle here. Is that something that
Whoa!
he's doing? Because there's
And then he looks like a ghost after you spend all those hours
Yeah.
with a ghost. You turn into one.
That's how it works. That's how ancient magic works. Because there is this discussion on the difference between a ghost and a Inferi. And you have this hilarious line. Well, what Harry said is the most useful. If we're trying to tell them apart, said Ron. When we come face to face with one down a dark alley, we're going to have be having a shufti to see if it's solid, aren't we? We're not going to be asking, excuse me, are you the imprint of a departed soul? Such a good Ron line there. But Could it be that Draco is conferring with the ghost somewhere? And
maybe. That's bad. Ghosts know stuff. I don't think that anyone's tapping into the ghosts as much as they should.
Yeah. Professor Binns, poor old Professor Binns.
I also am thinking we don't have a timeline on Myrtle here. She wasn't very specific. But what if it was something long, long ago? I'm trying to think of when she actually died. I don't remember the details. I could probably look at my History of Wizards note. But could it have been Voldemort or someone long time ago that said, I'll come back and visit you in this year on this day, and that's why she's in the boys' bathroom, because she expected someone to be there who's not, and it could be someone like Voldemort from back in the day, but it also could be Malfoy who needs her for something.
Maybe getting ghosts on their side, death either side.
What could they do? That's the question.
That's true. I don't know.
Psychological warfare.
Throw people off balance.
Yeah. Make people cold. That would be the worst. Sitting in
For
battle
you.
and a ghost just is hovering over you and you're just freezing and shivering. That would be my worst nightmare.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. But that would be terrible. I hate being cold so much.
I know. But...
After all this happens too, Tonks is about to go visit Dumbledore. Why is Tonks going to visit Dumbledore? What's up with Tonks? Does she love Sirius? What's going on with her?
Something more is up, but I don't know what. I mean, I did mention loving Sirius, but the whole cousin thing invalidates that. Still could be Lupin, though. I wrote that in my margins. Also, the way Tonks talked to Harry made me think there was more going on that Harry didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, she mentioned all the people dying.
Mm-hmm.
Then Harry said, oh, yeah, I read about whatever in the Daily Prophet. And then she said something like, have you talked to anyone from the Order recently?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, not since Sirius, and tears, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that transaction or that like discussion, I mean, the back and forth was like...
something serious is happening within the Order.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody died within the Order. Tonks is saying all these people are dying. Have you talked to the Order? So either someone in the Order died or someone close to the Order has died or something serious happened. So Harry's out of the loop and it didn't even faze him. So I think Tonks is upset from the original thing with Sirius and then other subsequent events that Harry doesn't even know about and he's still not in the loop about. So I don't know what they are. I'm afraid it could be Lupin because we already know he's out on a very dangerous mission and we know that a boy was killed. The Daily Prophet mentioned, right? That a werewolf killed a boy. That was from the Prophet, right? Or was it another part of this chapter? It was rumored that it was Fenrir Greyback, but it was werewolves, supposedly. And so, again, we're hearing like stuff is happening. That's where Lupin is. So was he involved? Did it have anything to do with him? Was this some mission gone wrong?
Like, you think that even Tonks could be in love with Lupin? Because you mentioned that a while ago, and she's nervous that he's way down.
And
in this
he could have literally died, and that's why she's sad. He could have been the one to kill that little boy, and now he's all torn up about it and emotional because during his time of the month he killed somebody. Mm-hmm. So
sounds accurate.
That's familiar.
So it just feels like.
He said sounds familiar.
I mean.
So there is definitely something deeper going on with Tonks.
Could the Tonks thing be connected to the Malfoy thing because they're both looking thinner and sickly?
Does she kind of look like a boy and she's going sneaking into the bathroom crying?
Wow, and being emotional. And that's what Myrtle was thinking?
She's changing her appearance maybe to a boy quick.
You're right. She easily could do that. To blend in.
We'll see. Anything else in this chapter, Danny? Quick, go.
Did someone else die? Lupin? No, I don't know. Patronus being a big four-legged thing. She's in love. Whatever. That's what I said. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Mimbletonia came up again.
I'll just mention one thing. There is something that I really admire about Tonks here, in that she is deep in her emotions.
Yeah.
As someone who, I'm not necessarily like so super deep on my emotions, but I love that she just taps into that, and it shows the depth of her character. That some other people have been able to get over this quicker, and she is just devastated over Sirius's death and some other things that are going on that we just don't know of yet. And she's like not able to move past some of this stuff because it's affected her so deeply. I just love that she is that in depth of a character, and it makes me a little sad for her as well, because there aren't she has a community around her, but she's like trying to reach out to these people. She's trying to have a meeting with Dumbledore. She's trying to even talk to Harry about certain things. She's talking with Molly on certain parts, and like she has a community around her of people trying to help her, but she is just utterly dejected, and you like hurt for her. But it shows that she has a good range of emotions, and she's like really, this stuff is really affecting her.
And also, she could be a werewolf.
Maybe
she's looking terribly thin, or terrible and thin. And if she was dating Lupin, or went out to try and save Lupin from something, she gets bit by him, becomes a werewolf. Because we see at the beginning of the next chapter the picture of the full moon above Aragog, and we already knew, aside from the picture, because the picture could be a little deceiving, that the moon was shining enough light to give Harry light when he was walking out to Hagrid's.
On the picture?
Yeah, but actually, I missed the full moon. But later, when I was reading and Harry said the light of the moon was like throwing a shadow, I was like, how bright was the moon? For it to throw a shadow, it has to be close to a full moon. It's got to be like that. Then I was like, oh no, if it's in the picture, then it was definitely a full moon. So I turned back, and sure enough, it's right there in the chapter picture, full moon. So if Tonks was now a werewolf, this is when she would have panicked and been saying, I need to find Dumbledore, because he doesn't even know, but I'm about to turn into a werewolf. I'm going to go hide. See you in a few days, you know?
Go to the Shrieking Shack.
So anyways, the Tonks werewolf theory is just occurring to me right now, but...
All right, let's go to the After the Burial, chapter 22, the last one. We'll speed through this one. Quick summary of this chapter, After the Burial.
All right, I'll try.
Go for it.
I've been making you do all this stuff. Harry gets lucky. He doesn't find out what Malfoy is up to, but he does keep trying. He helps Hagrid bury Aragog while taking his Felix Felicis lucky juice, and luck was on his side because he was kind of dodging Slughorn but ran into Slughorn that same night. Then he was able to bring Slughorn over to Hagrid's place, kind of get him to have some of the spider venom which he wanted, and then use some nonverbal magic. So Harry was kind of on a roll. He was very lucky this chapter, and he was able to secure the memory that he needed from Slughorn to keep his mission with Dumbledore going. So a pretty important chapter. What kind of spider is Aragog again? I couldn't remember. Like some kind of big old fancy thing, and that's what Slughorn was like. Whoa.
Acromantula.
Ooh, nice.
An acromantula.
Ew.
We just got to get ready for trivia.
Yeah.
You know?
This is probably what Shelob is.
Yeah.
Guys, you know what Shelob?
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
Obviously. It's a Shelob.
Okay, well, on that note, what do you think of
Lord
Hagrid?
of the Rings.
Yes. What do you think of Hagrid?
I watched it. I don't know what that is.
I just guess that every time now.
It's a safe guess a lot of the time. Hagrid was crying, so many tears.
I know. What do you think
What
of
a
him asking
guy.
the trio to come out, though?
Maybe that's who Myrtle found in the bathroom. He doesn't have that many friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what was he doing way up there in the castle? Anyway, sorry, we didn't have to go all the way there, but maybe. Sorry, what was your question?
What do you think of him asking the trio to come out after dusk to the burial?
The trio is what you're saying.
I thought you said
Yeah.
the tree before.
I keep hearing tree.
Sorry.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
Trio.
Bold. I like that he was willing to ask, but also, why does it need to be a burial at 11? Like, can't you just bury it like another
that's a great
time? Or like,
Hagrid.
it feels a little funny. Like, I was just kind of like
He's
asking the
working
trio is
till
perfectly reasonable, but like he literally stole the dead body from a bunch of spiders just to do.
He buried him because it was his favorite time of day. Dusk was
Dusk was his, and it was summer, so dusk was later.
I think, yeah,
and that makes sense. But like, why that late?
Yeah.
Why not just say we're gonna bury him a little bit earlier? We're gonna do it at 5 p.m. or right after dinner.
Time of day, Danny.
But like,
when you scatter ashes of someone that you
right.
love, you scatter them during.
And
their
Hagrid's so
favorite time of day
sentimental.
at their
He
favorite
needs to
spot.
Where would that be for you, John? And what time of day?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. I love early mornings. I do love dusk too. Or no, I love super late at night when the world feels like it's turned off and like we'll go take Wes for a walk down the road or something like that. I love that. Bury me at midnight.
At midnight. But where? Where would it be?
I don't know. You ever seen
morbid, you guys.
Have you ever seen Secondhand Lions? You guys ever seen that?
Oh
movie?
yeah, it's been a long time though.
One.
I watched that in theaters, but I don't remember
I
much.
have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
It was actually a great movie.
No, that
there's
was
this
really
one line in
good.
the movies that me and my mom quoted each other all the time. Where it's one of the guys dies and he writes a note and it's the note is just bury me out in the garden with the stupid lions or something like that, because he had lions and they buried them out. It was such a funny
Wait,
line.
is this what you tell your mom? These
Yeah,
are
me
the
and my mom
lines
quote
you
that
say
every day all
back?
the
Bury
time.
me
Yeah.
in the
With
pumpkin.
the
Whenever we
lions.
talk about death, we're always like, yeah, just bury me out in the garden with the stupid lions.
Were you offended when Hagrid asked them out to this thing past the rules of the dusk,
'cause
whatever?
I'm a Hermione.
I was gonna say, as a rule follower, it pissed me
Yeah.
off. I didn't like it.
But you're also both very emotional people that want to be there for your peeps.
Yes.
So if Hagrid asked you, what would you be feeling?
I feel like I would
I was just cursed.
want to go.
You would want to go?
Yeah.
I was annoyed that Hermione and Ron didn't want
Yeah,
to go.
for
None of them
sure.
wanted to, and I was like, guys, Hagrid
Yeah.
never asks for anything. Why would you even hesitate?
That's not
Does
necessarily
he
true.
ask her stuff? I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
because
does.
with the
Grop,
with Grop.
which is a big ask.
You're right. That was a huge
and to
ask.
watch. I thought the little dragon
watch
too.
Norbert.
Norbert.
There's
Yeah.
been a
There's
lot.
been-
All
of
right, he
He's
does
a big
ask
ass.
for a few things, but it's usually not tear-stained
A
asking.
few.
Yeah.
But like
These
you
are
said, why does it have
big-
to be like he's like putting them in a position to
bad
get in trouble
position.
with the school.
And that's where I think even if they weren't going to go at dusk, just go at like a normal time and say, Hagrid, we know the funeral's tonight.
Yeah,
we know
for
you're going to
real,
bury
yeah.
him. We can't stay that long, but we're
Well,
here
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
Hug, drink for
an hour
Aragog,
with them,
and then
yeah.
you leave, But they didn't even entertain it. They were just like, we're not doing it. But then if you know that if anything even remotely cool that Harry wanted to do comes up, he'd be like, oh yeah, who cares about rules? Rules spools. I'm out of here. And he'd throw that cloak on and go running around wherever he wants, And that's what happened when he takes the liquid luck. He's totally down to just go break some rules all of a sudden. But like
He just
for
becomes
his
a good
friend, he wasn't
too.
willing.
I love that when he takes the liquid luck, it makes him be a good friend.
Yes. It's like good for him.
Yeah, like everything coalesces perfectly. Like at this chapter right here, where you're like, he's a good friend. He figures out all the info. He like gets information about his mother. It's so wonderful. I love it.
Yep.
And some of this has been hinted at, but this was like even how he figured it out. Look, potions will almost entirely be empty this afternoon with all of us doing our tests. Try to soften Slughorn up a bit. 57th time lucky, you think? Said Harry bitterly. Lucky, said Ron. Harry, that's it. Get lucky. What do you mean? Use your lucky potion. Ron, that's it, said Hermione, sounding stunned. Of course. Why didn't I think of it? Is this like legitimately the best way to get the memory? A lucky
It
potion.
seems like it at
Yeah.
this point, right?
I mean,
He's
from this
tried.
chapter, he got it pretty easily.
Oh, very easily. But I didn't realize also that he could just take a little swig of it. I thought it was like, this is your only chance to use it. And I'm like, save it for when you're versing Voldemort.
Right. There are probably better times. But then again, Dumbledore said this is highly important, the most important. So I'm glad he was willing to do it. I was getting nervous partway through the chapter that it was going to run out because he took a small bit. And I was like, quick, hurry up, Harry. Come on.
He like felt it wearing out. That's why he had to like push on a little faster. Harry, though, makes this euphoria potion. Do you think that's going to come up again? Like, what is this euphoria potion? Do you think that you'd take it? Is it good? Is it healthy?
Is it healthy?
It just sounds like
it
drugs.
Makes you healthy.
It's like he's literally making drugs.
It really does. What's the it's like, what is it, Molly or whatever?
Something you'd find at a
Club.
festival.
Yeah. What did they take in The Hangover?
Oh, roofies. Weren't they roofied or something?
Maybe. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, it was an accident.
I don't know enough about it.
Whatever.
I think so.
And that's kind of like Euphoria.
Wait, was this from the Half-Blood Prince too? He copied a potion.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
The Half-Blood Prince.
And that's why he was able to do it so
addict.
good. He threw a bit of mint in there to counteract some of the stomach problems that were going to happen when someone usually ingests this potion.
Oh, but he gave them ecstasy.
Yeah, ecstasy.
That's it.
I feel like ecstasy and euphoria are.
Yeah.
This is the wizarding version of ecstasy. So there's a lot of drug usage.
Peppermint.
There's a lot of drug usage
And underage
drinking in this book.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
wonder
you're
we
right.
weren't allowed to read it. Not only was it because of magic.
This is the other line that we get. Harry took the rolled up socks at the bottom of his trunk and extracted the tiny gleaming bottle. Well, here goes, said Harry, and he raised the little bottle and took a careful, measured gulp. What does it feel like? Whispered Hermione. Harry did not answer for a moment. Then, slowly but surely, an exhilarating sense of infinite opportunity stole through him. He felt as though he could have done anything at all. And getting the memory from Slughorn seemed not only possible, but positively easy.
Love it.
Great line.
One other thing I did forget to mention is, could Dumbledore have slipped something into Voldemort's drink when they were drinking wine back in his memory in the 60s? Because they mentioned the goblets, they mentioned the wine, they mentioned it a bunch of times. They're both drinking something. I think their guards were both up, but I feel like Voldemort was coming in trying to be like pleasant and whatever. So if there was ever a time for Dumbledore to make a move preemptively, might have been then. So I just was curious if there could have been any kind of potion that Dumbledore could have slipped in there long term. Anyways, because we know he took multiple sips of that wine. So now when I'm seeing potions, I'm thinking, could any of these potions have impacted Voldemort then or since then from Dumbledore's perspective?
Yeah, it also shows the charmingness of Voldemort too. Like, I don't even know if Harry could have procured the memory of any other way than liquid luck. I don't think he has that. He's charming, but he's not charming like
not
Voldemort
charming
is
enough. Yep.
Yeah. What would you guys use liquid luck on? Would you use it on a random day? Would you guys how would you use liquid luck?
I feel like you have to set up a mega day.
Yeah.
Somehow you just set up like one day where you know a lot of stuff's going to happen and then you just go for it. But what would that day be? Or would it be a random day for you?
Like a wedding day. Everything goes perfectly.
Nothing goes wrong.
Wow.
The weather is perfect. Your photographer is getting the best pictures of all time.
Of all time. I feel like it wouldn't be bad in Vegas, you know, stop by a casino with the little liquid luck fuel. Or just travel around in a place where there are possibilities, you know? Go to a major city, run into some celebrities, just have a night. Right. I'm thinking of Groundhog Day because I love that movie. And like he, of course, is living the same day over and over and finds out a way to perfect it. But liquid luck might be a different way of perfecting a day, you know? The perfect day.
And then
cool.
Do you guys, going back to some of Slughorn stuff, did he take liquid luck at two important parts of his life? Were they random days or were they actual days that we might have seen before that like we'll have some explanation for later?
Oh, interesting. Because we know he took it twice.
He took it twice.
And could it have been during his memory?
Yeah.
Or something else that happened where we're like, oh. Or even he downs it real quick when Dumbledore and Harry showed up at his house. And he's like, uh-oh, I have to now make this entire place look like a mess. So he takes a shot of it and does it. That'd be interesting. I didn't think we were going to see either of his days. But it is possible. And that would be funny.
Okay, this is I want to read this line, and this is a question for the ladies in the group. because I just need to know something.
Just need to know.
Getting
That's
through
an
the
Enrique.
Yes, of course. I knew
The first two
exactly
words
what
that
it
Danny
is.
knows. Getting through the portrait hole was
'Cause I literally have my
simple.
finger on it.
As he approached it, Ginny and Dean came through it, and Harry was able to slip between them. As he did so, he brushed accidentally against Ginny. "Don't push me, please, Dean," she said, sounding annoyed. "You're always doing that. I can get through perfectly well on my own." Is Dean being chivalrous or annoying?
I think he's copping a feel.
Okay, ladies. Dean, every time he's like,
trying to cop a feel.
Well,
He's
because
trying to
I
see
think-
if he's gonna have some liquid luck.
I
tonight,
think
but-
Harry got lucky and brushed accidentally, and like tapped her
didn't
butt or
even think
something.
of that.
But every time they're going through the portal, Dean's like, "Let me help."
Yeah, he like touches the small of her back. Like
Yeah,
pushes her
I'm
a
just
little bit.
like,
'Cause
he-
She says he's always doing that.
Yep.
Should
oh.
a guy not do that? I feel like
She's
Dean-
done with him. If it was a guy that she was truly into, she would love it.
Really
Yes, 100%. At least that's my
for
perspective.
Ginny.
Because that's how I took it.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's done. That line to me, I was like, oh, she's over him. She's just staying with him,
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure.
But
For sure.
that's the
Interesting.
beginning of yes, the end.
Beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end. Because if you're getting annoyed at touches like that,
It's
over.
over. It's over for you guys.
Yeah,
that's how I
I
interpreted
agree.
it.
he just keeps touching her butt every time
Yeah,
they go
maybe
in.
I mean, if I'm into a guy-
like the movie Hitch, right? He's like
How
too
high,
his
how
friends,
low?
too
Oh,
he
yeah,
just
yeah,
wants
yeah.
some butt.
Friends, not.
Is there a line? So this is almost like a personal question. Is there a line where chivalry crosses over to?
Yes.
Taking advantage? Yeah.
No, not taking advantage. Not taking advantage at all. Like crosses over to being unbelievably annoying, where the person doesn't what you don't want. Like
they don't let you do
Let's say
anything.
Dean is like holding her arm every time she walks in. It's like a chivalrous note, or like opening the door every time she walks in, letting her go first. Is there a point where maybe not just Ginny, but she's like over that? All women are over that in normal life.
I mean, I can't speak. I haven't dated in 100 years, but like, I would think that I'd like it. I like chivalry. Like, I
Yeah.
love that. So,
Same.
but that's just me. I don't know.
And if you were getting sick of it, you would just be like, "All
yeah,
right,
you could.
let's
Yeah, well,
cool
that's
it
where the
on that."
communication
You just
is.
say,
You
like,
say
oh.
it nicely, but if you're gonna snap at them, then
It's
that's,
okay.
that's
I
not
got
okay.
it. That's what I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Danny, anytime she says it's okay, I got it.
Yeah,
just
take
back off
notes.
for a little bit.
All right.
It also depends on like previous history. Have you experienced something where you're like,
Yeah.
and it's just a triggering
Right.
thing,
Right.
or you're just annoyed that day, or it's the time of the month that,
Right. Right.
Is she
and
a
you're just
werewolf?
like, don't touch me, don't talk to me. I'm over it.
Keep
Did you
it.
say she wolf
100?
from Shakira?
No,
Oh.
but that makes
She's a
more sense.
werewolf?
She's a she-wolf rather than a werewolf. Ginny is a she-wolf.
Attracts.
Is a she-wolf.
Yep.
This is the number one compliment that people want in the new series too. They want Ginny to have a personality because in the movies she doesn't have a personality. So they're like
Yeah.
dying for her in the actual series that they make for her to have a personality.
Yeah, she used to be like a little sassy girl.
I know.
And that's what they could do pretty well.
Firecracker
You know, like they could do
Redneck.
entire episodes
Yeah.
on characters and really dive into it. She deserves a lot more than what
Because
she's
the
got.
producers of this series are listening to us.
I know. We will help write the series for you, HBO. Hire all four of us.
We're ready. I got
Please.
theories for days. Bonus episodes.
For sure.
If I ever do fan fiction, the first thing I'm going to do is about what Hermione did when she was out on that ski trip with her parents.
Oh my gosh.
Because I still like the idea that the trip got cut short and why. Doesn't make sense. So I think there was something with Crumb and this whole dramatic thing and
Yes.
maybe even more. So we'll see.
Yeah. Tune in next time.
Tune
when
in
Danny
next time for
reads
my
his
weird fan
for us.
fiction.
Gosh, bonus content.
Yeah.
All right, here are 2 lines. This is kind of the meat of the chapter. After an hour or so, Hagrid and Slughorn began making extravagant toasts. To Hogwarts, to Dumbledore, to Elfmaid wine, and to Harry Potter, bellowed Hagrid, slopping some of his 14th bucket of wine down his chin as he drained it. Yes, indeed, cried Slughorn a little thickly. Perry Otter, the chosen boy who, well, something of that sort, he mumbled, and he drained his mug too. And then this is the bulk of the chapter right here. But she didn't move. Dad was already dead. But she didn't want me to go too. She tried to plead with Voldemort, but he just laughed. That's enough, said Slughorn, suddenly raising a shaking hand. Really, my dear boy, enough. I'm an old man. I don't need to hear. I don't want to hear. I forgot, lied Harry. Felix Felicis, leading him on. You liked her, didn't you? Liked her, said Slughorn, his eyes brimming with tears once more. I don't imagine anyone who met her wouldn't have liked her. Very brave, very funny. It was the most horrible thing. But you won't help her son, said Harry. She gave me her life, but you won't give me a memory. Oh, crushing. Is there any new information that you gained from this little story of Lily here? And what do you think of this whole tactic?
I like to think it wasn't so much a tactic as Harry just being honest and being real, and that being good.
Yeah.
You know, in the moment, I kind of lost sight of it all, and it felt like it was actually just emotional and real. And I do feel like I learned because we suspected, and Harry said it so matter of fact, but I don't remember the part about like his dad dying and Voldemort stepping over him, and the confirmation that that was the order of things. I feel like hearing it spelled out like this felt more clear than we've seen it before. So I don't know that it was new information, but it felt new the way it was being read.
Yeah.
It was so matter of fact the way Harry was saying it. Yeah, so I guess it still is a little fallible because it's coming from Harry, but yeah, it felt kind of like new information a little bit. Yeah, and certainly more emotional, like Harry's actually processing this in a way that he can actually talk about it. So it showed growth to me too, from Harry's perspective.
Yeah, it's a good line. And then he goes, be brave like my mother, Professor. You're a good boy, said Professor Slughorn, tears trickling down his fat cheeks onto his walrus mustache. You've got her eyes. Just don't think too badly of me once you've seen it. So I'm going to pester you with the annoying question one more time. What will this memory tell? We'll probably find out in the next chapter, but
I know.
I feel like he told Voldemort what to do with Horcruxes, how to make a Horcrux and use it or something.
Yeah, and it must be really bad.
Oh, it's bad.
I wonder if that's how he killed Lily.
With a Horcrux?
I don't know. Maybe.
Sprayed a Horcrux potion on her. Then it would be even
more terrible for him because he really loved Lily as a student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whatever he said, he was able to kill her. Could a Horcrux be like the spell that you... What the heck is it? What Wormtail was, and he spilled the beans. Like, could a Horcrux be like you tap into
a Fidelius?
I don't know.
Like with the Secret Keeper?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Like a Horcrux could be a way of breaking a Fidelius or something? Or
yeah, something
or
where
like an evil Fidelius, something on the opposite end?
Maybe. I don't know. I just was wondering if it ties into Lily because he wants to hide it so much, and I feel like not only is it because you helped Voldemort, but maybe because you basically gave him the key to killing someone they all know and love. I changed it a little bit this time.
No, I like that. Yeah. Anytime you change it, I'm good with it. There, I just want to make a side note on this too. This is I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because it misses so many things, but it nails so many things. And this is one section that it actually enhanced what was in the book. One of the very, very, very rare sections where I actually thought the movie did slightly better than the books. And I want to. Can I read you guys part of this movie transcript?
Yeah.
No.
It's a spoiler.
It's
for
not a
you.
spoiler at all.
No. The books are
it's an
our
enhancement.
books are canon. The
Yeah.
movies are just bonus.
Yeah.
Oh my!
This isn't a
right.
spoiler
You pick
at all.
and choose when it's a spoiler, but
Well,
I'm ready.
honestly,
So-
but John is my spoiler like security guard. So if
So
John
this
deems
is what it was.
safe, it's cool.
In this line when he goes, I couldn't imagine anyone who didn't like her. She was very brave, very funny. It was the most horrible thing. They essentially just made this a little story.
Oh,
So-
whoa.
He was talking with Hagrid about this fish that he used to have, and one day the fish vanished. And then they got drunk, and Hagrid fell asleep, and then Slughorn, and he delivers this line brilliantly. He turns to Harry and he goes, "'Twas a student who gave me Francis," which was the fish. "One spring afternoon, I discovered a bowl on my desk, just a few inches of clear water in it. Floating on the surface was a flower petal. As I watched, it sank. Just before it reached the bottom, it was transformed into a wee fish. It was beautiful magic, wondrous to behold. The flower petal had come from a lily, your mother. The day I came downstairs, the day the bowl was empty, was the day your mother," and then it cuts off.
Whoa.
And I
Yikes.
think that's like the best, in my opinion, that's the best movie to book change that they ever made. I thought that was a beautiful added story. I love that so much because it gave like real substance. It made you see how much Slughorn truly loved
Yep.
this student.
It showed it instead of told
And it showed how beautiful of a person Lily was, like giving this beautifully magical object to her professor that she valued. I think it was excellent. It's my favorite part of the movie. That's why I love certain parts of this movie because they just nail it, and I hate this movie because they don't. Anywho, anything else in this chapter?
The only other thing was the house elf cupbearers actually happened, which we talked about in the last episode. But then I felt bad because we were like joking about it, like, oh, they'd be such perfect cupbearers. And then here it's like Slughorn's abusing them. Harry's like, I'm not going to tell Hermione. That's pretty mean. And I was like, oh, yikes, I guess so. Like, I was picturing it being Dobby, who'd be so willing and psyched and excited about it. And here it's like, oh no, maybe Slughorn's like, hey, house elves, get over here. Drink this stuff. It might be poison. Like, oh, that's a little different.
He thinks in his head, he's like, I can't tell Hermione about this.
Yeah,
Like,
really. So that was the only thing I thought was funny.
Yeah, that was good. All right. Let's talk about our favorite.
Oh, one more thing though.
Yeah.
Will Slughorn actually remember this in the morning is still a question. Harry said doubtful he'll remember it in the morning, but that'd be great if he didn't.
I love the idea that he didn't.
Yeah. So simple,
He
so
still
clean.
thinks he still thinks he's hiding it, and he still has that power over him. And if Voldemort's followers ever come after him, he's like, no, I didn't give it up. And he could be think he's serious. But
so it's not too bad.
Felix doing wonders. All right, guys, who wins our house cup? Let's have a debate.
I feel like it's just Harry in all the chapters.
I know.
Obviously. Fine.
House cup. Harry?
Yes.
Harry.
I went back and forth. This might be like controversial. I went back and forth between Harry and Dumbledore.
Ooh.
Because I'm trying to find it. I like how Dumbledore kind of like egged him on to get the memory when Harry went there and he didn't have the memory. I love how Dumbledore handled it because he didn't get mad, but he
showed the severity of it.
Yeah, and he like was like, I'm disappointed, you know, like you can do better, and it motivated Harry to like want to do it. So I'm gonna go Dumbledore.
Yeah. That's a great teacher right there. I'm actually going to go Dumbledore too. So this couch against that couch.
Respect.
Because of his mastery over Tom Riddle.
Oh, yeah. That was so good.
Like, that was just exceptional. Like, he was he dominated him. And he's showing Harry all this new stuff, all this new information, and he's finally giving him more answers. And I just loved how he communicates. He's not like a severe guy where he has to like yell everything that he says, like Voldemort is saying.
When he communicates.
Yeah, exactly. When he communicates softly and just with gentleness, and he knows that he's in power and he's control. And I kind of love that. Favorite moment. Now you can go favorite moment.
Yeah, but now that you said that, I didn't want to change it to that moment.
Come on, you can just go for that.
Wait, what?
That's your favorite moment?
Yeah, but I liked the Slughorn thing where he
Yeah.
was so emotional over Lily, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't give it to you," the memory kind of thing. So either one.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the Slughorn moment. I felt like it was very real from
Yeah.
Harry, drunk from Slughorn, but still real. So the emotion
Sometimes
and
it's even
Harry
more
growing.
real.
Yeah, honestly,
The honest truth.
it was good. And I think I liked reading that whole part leading up to it and then being nervous. Like, is it actually going to play out how we think, or is there going to be a curveball?
Yeah.
So I think it was fun to read, very satisfying. Growth from Harry for sure. And I just like Hagrid. We don't see him that much.
I know.
So being around Hagrid and all that was cool too. So yeah.
I just liked Harry on the Felix Felicis because I feel like it was nudging him with like unknown things because it
Right,
was like,
right.
oh, go here.
Yeah.
But he was like, well, it's not where Slughorn is, but Slughorn ended up being there. So I just kind of like that it made him trust his instincts, I guess.
Yeah, that's a fascinating
Yeah.
one of what it actually does, and that's my theory for it. It just makes you trust your instincts.
Yeah. I loved that.
Like,
the whole
will he
like
be
little
better after this? Just
traveling.
like at trusting himself a little
Hopefully.
Yeah,
more. That'd be nice.
I know. I think that's kind of one of my favorites too, and I think the whole Felix chapter is one of my favorites of him like experiencing that, but really the Slughorn when he's talking to Slughorn and he's showing the severity and he talks about his mother. That's my favorite part in these chapters. I think it's just so hard to beat that, like the weight of what it is. Hot tamale. Dean,
I have one. I actually have ones.
lead us off. Who's your hot
I'm
tamale?
giving it to Hepzibah Smith.
Oh yeah, she is
Girl had
such a hot tamale.
Oh my
She had the
god!
hots for Voldemort.
Wow, she's shooting for the
Is
stars.
Voldemort a gold digger,
Hmm.
gold killer.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
second. Probably.
I think I have to agree with you. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that worked.
That was the only one I
Spicy.
could think of.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I
There's
forgot
nothing
about that.
else.
Wait, what's her name again? Hepzibah?
Hepzibah? Was that right?
Hepzibah. You can say it however
Okay.
you want. Hepzibah Smith.
Hepzibah Smith.
I don't know how to pronounce half these things.
I had one, I lost it.
Hmm.
So I know that's my default.
Yeah.
Ginny giving it to Dean. Don't you push me. You're always doing that. Oh, hot tamale. What about Tonks?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know. That's a really
Yes.
throw.
I'm
He's
giving it
happy
to
about
Tonks
it.
too, but I'm also
Giving it to.
Voldemort. You can't deny the guy has
So
incredible
charming.
He's got
charisma and
charm.
charm.
He's got
He
charisma
is-
indeed.
So who,
He used to have
Hepzibah
who plays
Smith.
him? I want to know. I want to see what him as Tom Riddle in the movie.
Well, it would have to be.
It's not Ray.
It isn't
Because it's a younger
because
version.
it's too young. They
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
make
Oh
him
wait, so
young
it's
enough.
real. It's someone playing
It's a
it?
different actor, yeah.
Wait, don't tell me. The one
I don't even
from
know who it is.
Vampire Diaries.
It might be. He does do a
Love
great
him.
job. I have to
You're
admit.
obsessed. He comes up every day.
There are a few different actors.
Wait, someone.
I brought it up.
Yeah,
I brought it up last
On
time.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Smolder.
Ian Summerholder.
Yeah.
Smolder. He does have a
I actually
Smolder.
think I might
He's
know who
hot
that guy
tomorrow.
is.
Ian Summer.
Do I?
Summer
You look like
Holder?
him.
Okay.
Summer something.
Someone said that you. Someone said this on a
Summerholder,
comment
I
on
thought so.
YouTube.
Yeah,
You look
but I
like a
like
guy
Smolder.
from I think Veritaserum or something like that. And I looked it up.
Wait, from what?
From a YouTube channel called Veritaserum.
Oh, that's a channel.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it was Veritaserum, or it might have been something else. I gotta
Well, it
actually
sounds
look
like
up that
something I
comment.
couldn't look up.
I know.
Oh, that guy. That's actually not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of Superman
were you
in
thinking of Stefan?
Smallville.
Oh, that's
Oh,
another.
Tom Welling. Oh, I love
Tom
him too.
Welling.
Classic. You got to
Good
type.
one.
Nice.
I do
Anyway.
have a type.
Tonks for her emotional depth. Tonks is my real hot tamale. but sub hot tamale, like a mild tamale.
Oh my God.
Is
A medium
Lord
tamale.
Voldemort.
That's a great one.
AKA Tom Riddle.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna go to bed. We got work in the morning. Thanks for joining us on the journey of Harry Potter and the first time readers.
Tom Riddle.
Did you say Tom Riddle?
Yeah.
Are we chanting Tom Riddle because he's a hot
Apparently.
tamale? Tom Riddle.
Yes.
Oof.
I think Tonks is such a babe. Yes, Danny, they're saying if you want to know more about Harry Potter, there's a whole channel called Harry Potter Theory. It's also a podcast, Harry Potter Theory.